presents a special presentation of Inside Pitch. The 1983 demo game is on the air. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it is time for the demo game. 2 months have passed since we ended the 1969 season with the Baltimore Orioles winning that World Series on the network. And we are now 1 week away from opening day for the next season that was voted on and won by the Dice for 1983. This is the demo game which officially opens up the 1983 replay. Opening day begins next Monday on January 6th. This is the demo game. This is a game where I go ahead and I play a game of inside pitch, slow and steady. We'll do all the die rolls. We will be moving slow. You will see everything in action. There is, however, some serious changes that have been made by Chris Davis, the creator of Inside Pitch, and he has been updating his version 4 charts. We're going to be utilizing version 4. Now, for those of you who have the game and have version 3, this is the chart I will be using at this time. As you can see, there are some changes here. Some of this stuff I'm actually still learning. So we're going to be going through this. We're going to be learning some of this together. Now, this is a demo game. The demo game, this is not really a game to teach you. This is a game that shows you how a game of inside pitch is played slowly and surely. I will answer questions in the chat if anybody has any questions on how something works. Okay. I will answer anything about the mechanics, and I'm still learning some of the new version 4 mechanics. So please give me a little bit of a leeway because I'm still learning some of the new stuff he's added into this game, okay, over the last couple of months that he's been working on it, okay? I will not answer questions about ratings. I'm not going to answer any questions about ratings. If you have a question, if you think a player was rated too high, too low, too weak, too strong, I suggest you go ahead and email Chris in the forums or onto Inside Pit on his website, and he will be more than happy to tell you why a pitcher was rated, or pitcher or batter or runner was rated that way. So please do not, if you think a player was rated too high or too low in ratings, please don't ask me that because I'm not going to go against the game engine. This is what he used, and this is the way it's going to be played. We're going to play rules as written. However, this is an exhibition game, so a few of the rules some of the baseball rules I'm going to relax. I will utilize fatigue and stuff, and I'm going to use opening day rosters actually for these two teams. I usually don't for the demo game. I usually just go what's at the pack. But I am going to use opening day rosters with a couple of modifications. Some players that were not on these teams right now at the start of 1983, I did put them on for aesthetic reasons. And of course, I'm going to show you how to create this helper card, which I use, which will really help you out a little bit when playing the game. All right, for base run, for hits to the outfield. So, and as you can see, the helper card, all right, has been changed a little bit because he's trying to do with 1 out, with 0 to 1 out and 2 outs now. I think I did see an error on his latest chart, okay, and I already emailed him on that. So he will go ahead, probably fix it, unless he tells me that's how the chart is supposed to go. And as I'm talking to you now, I just want to see if maybe he sent me an email concerning it, and he hasn't. I'm going to keep that tab open, so if I see an email come through, and we'll see how it goes. So welcome, Jeremy Brooks, Gandalf 970, Ron McGrath, Philip Reynolds, Doug Hunt, and Barbara join us here at Memorial Stadium. We're using the Philadelphia Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles. These were the two teams that played in the 83 World Series. I always use the World Series teams for the demo game. So we're also going to have the two starting pitchers of Steve Carlton and Scott McGregor. I'm not going to do this in an announcing format like I usually do my regular season and playoff games. We're just going to go through the motions here, and we'll see. So a lot of people have issues, of course, with the base running. The base running for this game is very intuitive. It utilizes dice to decide what happens with a base runner. There are really no charts to decide where a runner runs on a base hit from for first to third or second to home. But however, he has now instituted that with the new base running mechanic. So as you can see now, we have a brand new chart that will now tell you what happens with base runners, whether it's 0, 1 out, or 2 outs, and what happens with the modifications, what happens with plays, and of course, what happens as well. He has made a few changes to the lineouts, which was something I kind of described him. He has not made really any changes to the errors or the range plays. They still pretty much stay the same. He did not make any changes here. So he has, of course, added more rare plays. I still would like to see more rare plays, but he has now added rare plays if it goes to the ballpark card from just an at the park or a rare play at the park, bases empty, and of course, men on from at the park or range play at the park. So he has made some changes there. And we're going to see what these changes are as we go through the game. It's a possibility we may play this game and we may not even come up with any of the changes. That can happen. So that can happen. And if it does, that's the way it goes. Good to see Forever Remain 90. So we got the Phillies and the Orioles for this matchup here at the Memorial Stadium. Since the Orioles did win the World Series in 1983, I thought I would go ahead and utilize Memorial Stadium as the home venue. Now, did he make double switches illegal? No, he did not make double switches illegal. All right, so a lot of people wonder what this is. This is my helper card, which really makes it a lot faster for me to go ahead and get results to decide if a base runner takes third or scores from second or first, something like that. This is a helper card. I'm going to show you how we create this first off. Now, I think there was an error on his last chart, because if you'll notice here, he's got +2, +2, +2, +2, +2. I think he meant to change these. So I'm waiting to hear from him on that. So I'm actually going to use a different set, okay, of modifiers that he sent me earlier. So, and I actually have kept all of his past charts. And I'll show you that set because I think I have a past chart here. I'm going to use a past set on that. But I am going to I'll show you what we have here. So here is this is a past chart, and you'll see -1, -1, -1, +1, +2, +1. I'm going to use this set. I think that is more correct. I think he made an error. Of course, I could be wrong. So we will see what happens. But I'm going to utilize this setup for the game. And I'll show you exactly how we do it. So we have the helper card, and I'll show you what we do here. So first thing you do, you should get a helper card and probably laminate it. I put it in a card sleeve, and probably use a dry erase marker, which is what I do here. So let's see how we create it. So we have on a single to left, first to third. So what we're going to do here, on a single to left to get first to third with one, and these didn't change. The only thing that changed was 2 outs from second to home. So that's why I only had to create just this here. But I'll show you what we have. So first to third is a -1 when the ball is at the left field. So we know it's a -1. The left fielder, I'm going to use the Phillies up top. The left fielder for the Phillies we're using is Gary Matthews. Gary Matthews has a +1 as an arm. So we know a -1 and a +1 is a 0. So we know that the base runner is going to be a 0 hit first to third. So there's not going to be any change to the base runner on first to get first to third. Hit the center field. Center field is a 0 on this chart. And the center fielder for the Phillies is of course, the late, great Gary Maddox. His arm rating is a +2. So we take the +2 and a 0. So we know there's not going to be any change on hit the center. So that's just going to be a +2 hit the center, okay, first to third. When it's hit the right field, Right field modification is a +1 on the chart. And the right fielder we have for the Phillies is going to be Von Hayes. Von Hayes really didn't start the Phillies with an opening day in '83, but I decided to use him because he is still a top of the line player. So Von Hayes' arm rating is a 0. So we know there's not going to be any change on a ball hit the right field to the base running rating. So that's just going to be a +1. Okay. And yes, you create an Excel sheet to create your helper sheet. That's what I did as well. Now let's do second to home. Now, second to home on a ball hit to left field, he has as a -1 on the chart. Okay. And so now when it's hit, now to get from the left fielder, we already know is Matthews, and he's a +1. So it is a minus. Hold on. So it is a -1 hit to left field, and he is a +1. So that's still going to be a 0 to get from second to home. And this is with 0 to 1 outs. Beatles Eternally joins us here. Help! I need somebody. That counts. So center field. Now center field, we go to S8. And center fielder here is also a -1. They're all -1 is what he's got here, at least on this chart. I'm still waiting for that to come through. Now, a -1 center field is Maddox. Now, Maddox has a +2. All right. So we know a -1, that's going to become a -1, which, okay, when it's hit to Maddox on the base running rating for the base runner. And single to right, second to home, he has a -1 as well. Right fielder is Von Hayes, and he is a 0, so we know that is just a -1 on the card. But now he's gone ahead and decided that with 2 outs, they will change. So now with 2 outs, it's a +1, +2, and +1. It does give the base runner a little bit more of a. It does give the base runner a little bit more of a speed when there's got 2 outs. Okay, and I wonder why he just doesn't. Why with 2 outs he just said just go ahead and add 1 to each one here, I guess, depending on the arm. So really, if you're adding 1, that -1 would be a 0. That would be a +1. That would be a +2. And just take the base running rating just right there. Okay, with the base runner. But we're going to follow his chart as it states. So with 2 outs, okay, he has a +1 here, second to home. So a +1 to left field, is Matthews, and now he's a +1 arm. So now it's going to be a +2 with 2 outs here. Isn't center field second to home supposed to be +1? Yes, he has changed that. He has changed it here. So now it's +2 second to home. He has a so Maddox is a +2 arm. The S8 would be a +1 instead of a -1. Correct. No, I'm using the original one here because remember, we're now on 2 outs. So the left field is a +1. Center field is a +2 now with 2 outs. And Maddox is a +2 arm. So now with 2 outs, he would be a +4. And on right field with 2 outs is a +1. Right fielder for the Phillies is Von Hayes. He's a 0. That's not going to change. That's still going to be a +1 to right feet when it's hit the right field second to home. Okay. No, your original one. He's made. I think this is a mistake. This is a mistake. This is the original one I'm using. The one that he's literally put out now is this, and I don't know why he's got +2 all the way across and +2 all the way across. I think that's an error. I'm not going to use that. I already emailed him. I'm waiting to get back to see if he gets back to me if that's an error. If it's not true, then I'll just fix it. If it's not an error, okay, I'll have him say it's not fixed. I just think that was an error. I think he made a mistake. Because if that's the case, if these are going to be the same, and you don't need to do this chart double, you could just go ahead and make it one chart, and then 0 1 outs and 0 to 2 outs up here. Okay, I'm figuring what's that there, So now So now we go to the double. So a double, he has not changed the doubles. The doubles are the same. 0 plus 2, 0, 0 plus 2, 0. He hasn't changed the doubles. I think that's still an error, but we're going to go with what's on the chart. So a double to home with 1 or 2 outs is still a 0. All right. Left fielder for the Phillies is Matthews. He's a +1. So that's going to be a +1 on a double to left. Double to center is a +2. And center fielder for the Phillies is Maddox. He has a +2 arm. So that's going to be a +4. And then right field, okay, he has 0 on both sides. And right field, of course, is Von Hayes. That is a 0. All right, so we didn't make a change there. So it's going to be a 0 on a double to right. That is how you create the card the hard way. That is how it creates the card the hard way, okay? Let's see, not with 2 outs, it's the S8. Jeez. All right, so I'll show you here. So you're talking about the original one. So here's the card. This is the chart you just put out now, okay? This is the chart he put out now. And I think you're talking about +2 here. Or are you talking the original chart that he made for version 3? Are you talking about the original version 3 chart? Because he has changed these, okay? Now, this is how you create a card the hard way. I'm going to show you how to create it the easy way. Utilizing a system, you can actually create a chart that looks just like this. And all you need is the arm rating of the fielder, and you fill it all in. This is what you use for that. This is the, okay, just you can get, I have posted this kind of thing in the forums, okay, but this is the easiest way to create the helper chart. All you need is the arm rating of the fielder and just fill everything in across. This is the fast way of doing that. So now let's do that for the Orioles. The Orioles have a different rating. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So in left field, Gary Renicky is in left field. So he has a and Renicky has a -1 arm. So you're gonna go to here and you just write in -2, -2, -1, and -1. So it's -2, then -2, -1, and -1. That is the fight. We look at the ratings you put into your helper with S8 and no out, second to home. I know. Okay, I'm using a different chart, Gandalf. I'm using a different chart because I think he made a mistake, and I'm waiting for him to get back on me. I know what you're talking about. Okay, S8 +2. I'll show you again. So S8 is a 0. Okay, on single. Are you talking second to home? Let's see. Center field, second to home be +1. No, center field, second to home, he has +2 on that chart. He has second to 2. So a +2. And remember, Gary Maddox has a +2 arm. So it's +2, it becomes a +4. Not with 2 outs. Look at the ratings you put in your helper with S8, no outs, second to home. Second to home, what here, a -1? Are you talking about here? Let's see. So you're talking about with no outs? Okay, so single to center, second to home, he has single to center, second to home, he has a +2 well, let me use my older chart. You see, second to home here, he has a -1. That should be a +1, not a -1. Very well. Okay, you're right. That should be a +1. +1. Okay. Yep, it's my math. My math is bad. All right, so that should be a +1 and then a +4, then a -1 here, and -2, -1, -1. So you see, that's how that now we create. Now you use this again to create the second helper. Remember, I'm using this helper chart I'm using this with a different chart, not the one he released, because I'm waiting for him to get back to me. Remember, I agree it's too early to do math, but it's okay. Because I'm still learning some of this new stuff here as well. So I'm going to learn with you guys. Thank you much there, Gandalf. I appreciate somebody correcting me. That's okay. If I'm wrong, tell me. All right, I don't get mad. So we have because I want you guys to learn this game, and I want you to enjoy it. It is very enjoyable as you'll see as we go through the '83 season. So now the center fielder for the Orioles is Al Bunbury. He has a +1 arm. So we're going to do +1, +2, +3, +3. That's all you got to do. That's a +1 arm. So here you go, +1, +2, +3, and +3. Very quick to do that. The right fielder for the Orioles is Dan Ford. He has a 0 arm. To do so it's just going to be a +1, -1, +1, and 0. I would post this. I would go ahead and post this helper in the forums, which I may do. The problem is that I'm waiting. I'm not 100% sure if these are going to be correct as he moves through it. Remember, this version 4 is in beta mode. It is not official. It is not official, but we're going to use this to play. Okay. And then we'll type in Philly and then Baltimore. Okay. So this is not official. This is not official to play. He's still working on it. When he makes it official, he'll finalize it and he'll include it with his with anybody that buys a brand new brand new copy of Inside Pitch. I would like to say here's a caveat. If there are people I tell, look, if you do not like how version 4 is, go ahead and go back to version 3 or play any version of the game you want if you still have it. Do not throw out any of your versions at all. Stick with the versions you like. If you think it gives you a better game, you think it's more realistic. Remember, Baseball Demo says, play the game you want the way you choose to play it. And that's what's special about it. This game is very customizable. You can make changes if you want. If you think a rating is too high or too low, you go right ahead. But as I said, don't ask me why a player is rated the way he is on the card. I can't answer that question. It's due to his software engine that is utilizing these ratings to get it. This new engine, apparently, he has, yes, and Marlon's right. If you get a fluffy cat, I'll do the math for you. He got a real serious bug with new software that has been re-rating all of his seasons, and he wanted to make some changes to the seasons. There's going to be a little bit of uniformity that will be lost in the next 4 seasons he's going to do, 03, 02, 03, 05, 06. Okay? There's going to be a little uniformity. I argued with him till I was blue in the face not to change the uniformity of the game. It's his game. That's okay. There are some of you don't have to go with the uniformity. Just play it the way you want. I hope that we've just spent a half an hour just going through the base running system of this. Let's go ahead and see it in action, shall we? So let's play some baseball. So we're going to do the Philadelphia Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles, the World Series teams from 1983. Scott McGregor is going to be the starting pitcher for B. Moore. We're going to have 2 lefties on the mound for this game. And when you create your own score sheet, I just do it like this. This is what I do. All my score sheets are in the book, and all you really need is just the ratings here and all that. I just create my own score sheet. I don't need anything like that. So it's very simple to play. The first thing, of course, you're going to do is roll on the pitcher card, and then you roll on the batting card. So, like, one of the reasons why I like the game, it always starts with the pitcher card. So let's go to the top of the first and let's see what happens. So we're going to have Von Hayes lead off for the Phillies. He's in right field for the game. Okay. And the first thing you're going to do is, and as I said, there's going to be some changes here. So we're going to see, I'm going to do this along with you. I did play a couple of games offline to try to get used to it, but I'm going to go along with you. Let's see what happens, okay? So McGregor's going to, you're going to roll off of McGregor's card. And that is a 6-6. Now, you look at Scott McGregor. Scott McGregor, 6-6, has a double star to the left and a blank to the right. If the batter is a righty, is a right-handed batter, you're going to go to the right side of the slash. If the batter is a lefty, you're going to go to the left side of the slash. Okay. If it's a switch hitter, if he's a switch, a lefty, you're usually going to go righty. Von Hayes is a left-handed batter, and that says a double star, where I call it an automatic out. And then you go to the top of the card of the pitcher card and get the automatic out. As you can tell, he has grounded to short, fly to left, fly to center, fly to center, fly to right, and fly to right. Scott McGregor was a fly ball pitcher. And you roll the die again, that's a 2, and Von Hayes is going to go ahead and fly out the left, and this demo game was underway. So you're going to use the slashes, which means Scott McGregor was usually better against lefties. He had better control against lefties. Against righties, he could be a little bit different. He could be a little bit out of control there. The next batter for the Phillies, we are at Memorial Stadium. We're at the American League Stadium. Designated hitters were used during this time, and we're going to use the DH. Mr. Pete Rose, may he rest in peace. He is the designated hitter for this game for the Phillies, and he is a switch. So that means that anything split on McGregor's card will be a righty. So McGregor will go ahead and we'll roll first on McGregor's card. That's a 4-2, and that says ET ? This is a possible error on a throw, a possible throwing error. We then go to Rose's card. That is a 1-6, and that is a G1. This is a ground ball back to the pitcher. Now, McGregor has a range of 3 and an error rating of 4. You lose the D12, the D20 to roll, that is a 12. That is higher. So anything under the 4 would have been an error. Anything higher will be an out. McGregor does not make an error. That's going to be a ground ball to McGregor, and he will take that, throw it over to first, and make the play for out number 2. Next up, we're going to use Gary Matthews. He's in left field. Gary Matthews is a righty. So McGregor so far starts off with 2 quick outs, with now 2 outs here in the top of the first. We will roll. And McGregor, that's a 5-6. A 5-6 again is a split chance. Against a righty, it's a blank. Against a lefty, it'd be an automatic out. Matthews is a righty, so now we roll to Matthews. It's a blank, and now you roll on the batter card. And that's a 5-6. A 5-6 on Matthews' card is a G6. That's a ground ball to short. Grounded to short. That's easily taken up by some young bum kid by the name of Ripken, and he throws it over to first, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Scott McGregor. So we go to the bottom of the first. And now, of course, now that Baltimore is in the field, we'll utilize the Philadelphia card here. When Philadelphia is at bat, we'll use the Baltimore card. So here comes Steve Carlton. Yes, one of the greatest of all time. And he will be the pitcher for the Phillies in this demo game. I'd like to mention, of course, sportslogos.net has recreated its all logo cards. So I want to give a little shout out to sportslogos.net for the new logo cards. And now we'll be using those from now on. Okay, for all my sports games. No, Ripken's rookie year actually was not, well, I believe Ripken actually debuted in 1982, but this is his this would be this is his second year actually. So we go to the bottom of the first inning, and leading off for the Orioles is going to be Al Bunbury. He's in center field for the game. He's a lefty. So Carlton is a lefty, and Bunbury is a lefty. So it's lefty versus lefty, and Carlton, of course, was nicknamed Lefty. So we roll on Carlton's card. That's a 6-4. 6-4 says RP. This is a range play. So now the defense has to come into act for the Phillies. You roll on Bunbury's card, and that is a 2-1. Now a 2-1 is a question mark 7. This is what I kind of call this a power hit. I call this a power hit, is what I call it, but it's a question mark 7. This is a ball hit to left field. Okay? And now what you do when it comes to a question mark, you check this line on the batter. Since Bunbury Since Bunbury is a lefty, since against the lefty, and Bunbury actually has the same things here. So Bunbury is a single 1 to 8, double to 9, triple 11 to 15. So Bunbury, we round check a 2. Now you'll check the run here for a 2. And the 2 says this is a single. So this is a single to left field, but it is a range play. So the left fielder gets a chance to make a play. The left fielder for the Orioles is Gary Matthews. His range is a 2. So now you're going to roll a single die, and a 1 or a 2, that single becomes an out. A 3 to 6, it's going to be a base hit. That is a 6, and that's going to be a single for Bunbury. As Dice Baseball Digest, Tony Porter joins us. So that is a base hit for Al Bunbury, so he leads off with a single, and he will hold it. He will go to first. Now the strategy roll comes into play. The next batter for the Orioles is going to be right fielder Dan Ford, and he had a pretty good year, actually, a 280 average. Now you're going to roll the strategy dice. The strategy roll is on the chart, and it will show you exactly how you roll it. What the strategy roll is trying to tell you to do is if there's going to be a possible steal, possible bunt, or a possible hit and run, or a possible pickoff or anything like that. Okay? So what now this is just a way to generate stolen bases, hit and runs. You do not have to do it. You can go ahead and override. So we roll a strategy. Al Bunbury only had 12 stolen bases that year. His attempt rating is a 3. You're going to check Carlton, and you'll see a stolen base rating here. On the left side of it is what you subtract or add to the strategy roll. On the right side is what you add or subtract when he's actually trying to steal a base. So it's a 3 minus 1. So a 1 or a 2, this would be a possible steal. Now, what about hit and runs? Dan Ford against the lefty is a 9. And what you do is you're going to go ahead and check the hit and run chart here. You're going to add 2 to a possible hit and run. Okay, do not utilize the ballpark information. Ballparks at +1. Memorial Stadium has +1 to strikeouts and +1 to walks. But you only use that when trying to figure out a strikeout or a walk. You're not going to use that for the hit and run. So in other words, Dan Ford is a 9, +1 is a 10. You don't figure that. You're only going to go with that. So a 1 or a 2 would be a possible steal. A 3 or a 4 would be a possible hit and run. And that is an 8. Nothing. There's not going to be a play. So Bunbury's going to stay at first, and Ford will bat normally. So now you roll on Carlton's card, and that is a 4-2. And against the righty, as you can see, it says S1. This is a straight up past the pitcher base hit. So it's a single right past the pitcher. But what does Bunbury do? His base running rating is a 4. He now has updated his chart a little bit for advancement past infielder. You add run to the base running rate with 2 outs, but there's nobody out. So on an S1, on a single past the pitcher, which is right here, S1, a 4+ runner on first will get to third. Bunbury has got good speed. His base running rating is a 4. He will get to third on that. And Ford has a single right past the pitcher. And the Orioles now have runners at first and third with nobody out. So already nobody out here, and Carlton lefty's in some trouble. Now here comes some young kid who says he wants to play in 2,132 straight games. I don't think he's got a chance. Here's Ripken, and Ripken is the shortstop for the game. Now you can play the infield in, but with only in the bottom of the first inning, you'd want to get some outs. So I'm not going to call the infield in. I'm going to let them play as normal. In the old days, when you called for double play depth, the range factors of players in the third, short, and second, okay, would be subtracted by 1. He has decided to not do that anymore. Ranges on fielders at double play depth no longer change unless the infield is in. Then you subtract 2. So here's Ripken. So we'll roll the strategy again. And that is a 5. And again, nothing's going to happen here. Okay. Dan Ford's attempt rating here is a 2. -1 would be a 1. And there's not going to be a chance for a hit and run. I usually don't do a hit and run with runners at first and third. You can, but it's up to you. So we're gonna go ahead and decline the strategy roll. So Carlton's gonna pitch. We go off his card. That's a 1-6. Now we have an RP at sign. This is a range play at the park. So now we go ahead. We go to Memorial Stadium to see what will happen here. So it's going to be a range play. We got to first. Now we no longer use Ripken's card. You now use Memorial Stadium. So we roll the dice again, and that is a 3-5. Now a 3-5 on Memorial Stadium's card is an S+8. This is a single plus to center field. What this means is that a single, an S+ means the batter has a single but tries to stretch it into a double. Must do this. That they has not told me that can be modified or something like that. That is a base. That is a runner on. That's a single trying to stretch into a double. Runners on base automatically run 2 bases, but it is a range play at the park. So that's hit the center field. Center fielder for the Phillies is Gary Maddox. In 1983, his range is a 3. His range is a 3 in 1983. So a 1-3, he's going to take that single away. So we roll a D6. That's a 4. He doesn't. That's going to be a base hit, a single to center for Cal Ripken. Now you're going to see so we know Bunbury's going to come in to score. Ford automatically takes third on S+, but Ripken's got to try for second. His base running rating is a 3. Center fielder is Gary Maddox. He has a +2. A 1-5, Ripken will take second base. A 6, there could be a play. A 6, there could be a play. So Ripken's either going to take, with a 1-5, he's either going to take second base or he's going to probably be out, but it depends. Let's see. That is a 2. He's going to go ahead and take second base on the throw, and Ripken will get to second, and that will be an RBI single for Ripken, and the Orioles get a quick 1-0 lead. So So already the Orioles, nobody out, and already 1-0 off of Carlton as Cal Ripken gets himself an RBI double. On an S+, base runners automatically advance 2 bases. There's no need to check anything. The only thing you're checking to see is if the batter goes ahead and takes the next base. And apparently Gary Maddox had a lousy arm in 1983. So one of the reasons why Ripken goes ahead and gets to second base. I would like to say assists and things like that are pretty much, according to him, they are based on the ability of a base runner to get an extra base, not speed. So even if a base runner has a high speed, okay, his base running rating may not be so high. It doesn't always match speed. As I said, I'm not here to answer any questions about ratings. I'm here to show you the mechanics. But for those of you wondering why a guy like maybe, some players have a high base running rating, were fast as heck, had a whole bunch of stolen bases, but yet their base running rating was maybe a little low in some cases. All right. That only means that when it comes to hit, Howie Well takes an extra base. That's pretty much what that means. Here comes another guy that says he wants to be in the Hall of Fame. Goes by the name of Eddie Murray. And yes, one of the greatest of all time. Eddie Murray is at first base for this game. So runners at second and third, there's nobody out yet. And we're only in the bottom of the first, so this is probably going to be a long game. By the way, if we happen to go in extra innings, I'm going to use ghost runners. We're not going to do anything special. This is an exhibition game. So 1-0 already Orioles. And now I'm going to call the infield in just for play reasons. An infield in makes the base running rating of the runner on third a 0. So a grounder without any errors or anything like that, or range plays, Ford's not going to be able to score on that. But I'll show you one if it comes up. So we will still roll a strategy. Nothing on the 4. Nobody's moving. So Carlton will go ahead and he will pitch. And that is a 4-3. Now, a 4-3 in Carlton comes with a parentheses, S1 in parentheses. This is if the pitcher is tired. And here you have the ratings for the pitchers. Carlton had 37 starts in 83. He can pitch to 32 batters before fatigue, and he can give up maybe 14 combination of hits, runs, or walks before you decide to pull him. I may be using that marker as a fatigue rating in 1983. I may use that as a fatigue rating. So if a pitcher gets to that level, I may fatigue him, but not pull him. And then if anything occurs off of this, I may go ahead and pull him. But he is not tired. This is an S1. So this is with parentheses. This would be a single if he was tired. He's not. You consider this a blank. So now you roll on Murray's card. And that is a 5-4. Now a 5-4 comes up as a G4. It's a grounder to second base. The infield is in. It's a ground ball to second. Dan Ford's base running rating becomes a 0. There is no way he can score. Okay, they're going to hold. He's automatically held. So the only play is going to be at first. The runners will hold, and Murray will be out. There's no way he can score unless you were trying to send him, but it'd be but he can't score because his base running rating becomes a 0. So there's one out. That's what the infield in can do here in this case. Now the next batter is Gary Renicky. I put him in left field for this matchup. Gary Renicky is a righty. We're going to keep the infield in by the Phillies. So we'll do a re-roll strategy because Carlton has a very good high bulk rating, but a very good pickoff rating. He picked off a lot of batters in 83. I think he picked off 24 of them, I think. There's a 13, nothing happening. Carlton will go ahead and pitch. 2-1. Now, a 2-1 comes up a K. That is a strikeout chance. Against the lefty, Renicky is a 5. You add from the ballpark card this +1, which makes him a 6. And for those of you wondering why he adds +1s or -1s to ballparks, believe it or not, there is a strikeout, a walk, and a home run factor at every ballpark. That is where he gets these ratings from, okay? If a ballpark had a high amount of strikeouts, or a low amount of strikeouts, there will be changes. So now that means a 5 + 1 is a 6. That is a 4, and that's going to be a strikeout. He's going to get Renicky. He didn't strike out much against lefties in 83, but he will get him there, and that's the first strikeout for Carlton, which means Carlton goes ahead and strikes him out just like that. Now there are 2 outs. And that will bring up the Baltimore designated hitter, Ken Singleton. Singleton is the DH, and he's got a .276 average and 18 home runs in 83. So now with runners at second and third, you can still roll a strategy roll, which I do, just in case there's any pickoffs. A 20 means a possible pickoff or a possible balk or pickoff error occurs. That's a 2. Nothing's happening here. So Carlton will pitch to Singleton, and that is a 3-2. Now a 3-2 comes up WLD. This is a possible wild pitch. You then go to here. Wild pitch 1 to 8. 9 to 11 pass ball. You're going to check the die. The D20 says this is a 9. It is not a wild pitch, but it's a possible pass ball on the catcher. Bo Diaz is the catcher for the Phillies. His range is a 2, and you have 2 ratings here for the catcher. The regular range rating and the pass ball rating. His pass ball rating is a 2. So now you're going to roll again to see if there's a pass ball. A 1 or a 2, he prevents the pass ball. A 3 or a 6, it is a pass ball, and the runners will move up. It is a 3, so apparently Diaz cannot stop. He probably bounces off his chest protector, goes all the way, which means Ford's going to come in to score. Ripken will move to third, and the Orioles now have a 2-0 lead. So that is a pass ball on Diaz, and I'll mark that as a PB. So that is a pass ball. If there was not a pass ball, usually in the old days, he's said to go ahead and re-roll. He does not now. The new version 4 says if no wild pitch or pass ball check, proceed to hitter's card roll, no re-pitch. trying to time down the hitting, trying to make the game flow a little better. So, but that was a pass ball, so Ripken now moves to third. So we now will re-roll, and I'll re-roll the strategy roll because there's a change in base runners and nothing happening on the 14. Carlton, a 6-5. Now we have an E question mark. This is a possible error. So now we roll to see if Singleton does something. And that is a 4-6. And a 4-6 is a G4. This is a ground ball to second base, but we have to roll to see if there's an error by the second baseman. Second baseman for the Phillies is Joe Morgan. His error rating is an 8. You can check the original D20 roll if you rolled it. That's a 17. That is over the 8 rating. That is not going to be an error. That's going to be handled by Joe Morgan. He'll get it. He'll throw to first, and that will end the inning. So 2 runs, 3 hits, a pass ball. And at the end of one, that took 46 minutes just to play this first inning, and the Orioles have a 2-0 lead after 1. Lots of good examples in this first inning. Yes, as I said, if you want to ask questions about mechanics, all right, and if you see me make an error, please let me know. I'm not perfect at the game. I may be. I guess I'm the ambassador for inside pitch, but I guess I'm the ambassador for inside pitch, but I sometimes check things out as well. And let me see what he got here. It said, and Chris Davis just emailed me. Nope, I changed the grid so these would be alike. The goal would be have the mods the same no matter the outs. The 1980s P by P, I pulled at a much closer second to home, no matter the outs. It was still 68% to 90% scoring difference based on outs. There's still 6 on less than 2 gets a number. There are a few more calculations to do, but this is close. So the grid is correct, okay? So we just got back to me, which means I got to change this. So we did say that the old numbers I used were wrong. This is now the correct chart. So it's +2, +2, +2, +2, +2, +2. So let's fix it. And since we didn't have to utilize it, so it's now +2 across the board. So Gandalf 970 is actually correct. So how do we change this? Well, if you've got a dry erase marker, you just do this. But now that it's +2, +2, I no longer need to have this separated in chart, but that might still change. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add +2 to every arm rating, okay, for each outfielder. That's what we're going to do. Whether it's hit to end, so it's +2 across the board. So let's see. Matthews is a +1. So now that means this is going to be a +3, +3, +3, +3, +3. Oh, wait a minute. My bad. Wrong. Getting ahead of myself. +3. Center fielder is Maddox. He's a +2. So now these are both +4s on both sides. And the right fielder is Hayes. He's a 0. So that's now a +2 and a +2. So if he's going to keep these exact, I can go ahead and redo the card. For the Orioles, left fielder is Renick. He's a -1. So that is now a +1 and a +1. Center fielder is Bunbury. He's a +1. So now this becomes a +3 and a +3. And right fielder Ford is a 0. So that is a +2 and a +2. Apparently, what he said to me is this grid is going to take care of the modifications. Apparently, we'll find out if we use it. So we made the changes. So let's get to the next inning, shall we? Let's go to the second. Long way to go here, but we'll see. So top of the second inning, McGregor back on the mound. And leading off for the Phillies is some bum by the name of Schmidt, who says he wants to be the greatest third baseman of all time. We'll see about that. I think he's a bum. McGregor will go ahead and pitch. So once again, batter card first. And that is a 5-5. 5-5 comes up as an @ sign. This is an at the park. So now it's a regular at the park. We now go to Memorial Stadium to decide what happens here. We roll again on the ballpark card. That is a 4-6. And a 4-6 in the ballpark card says F8. That's just a fly out to center field. Memorial Stadium in 1983 was pretty much a neutral park. Only 145 home runs were hit. Pretty much neutral in 1980. Pretty much neutral in 1983. Next batter for the Phillies is another great baseball player, Hall of Famer, Mr. Joe Morgan. And we have him at second base for the game. Good to see you, Craig Scarborough. And, of course, D. Scott Howard, the Boat Whisperer, is there now. So Morgan will now bat against McGregor. So McGregor will pitch off his card first. 6-3, and again, split. Against a righty, it's a blank. Against a lefty, it's an automatic out. Morgan is a lefty, so we now go to McGregor, the top line of McGregor's card. That's a 1, and that is a G6, and he's just going to ground out to short. And that'll be out number 2. Now here's Gary Maddox. He's in center field. 2/3 of the water, 3/4 of the earth is covered by water. The other quarter covered by Gary Maddox. But in 1983, might not have had a greater year. His range in that is only a 3. So Maddox will bat. It's lefty on righty. McGregor, a 1-4. And again, we have a range, an RP. This is a range play. So now we go to Maddox's card. And that is a 5-5. Now on Maddox's card, it comes up as a 2-star 4. You go to the pitcher's card, number 4 for the star line. This is a star line 4. So now you go to the pitcher card and you check the 4. Now, that's a fly ball to center field, but it is a range play. So we got to check the center fielder. Center fielder for the Orioles is Al Bumbry, and his range is a 3 in center field. So you're going to roll a 1-3. If it's a 1-3, he makes the play. 4-6, it's going to be a single or a double. That is a 2. That's going to be handled by Bumbry. He's going to get on his high horse, but he'll make a running catch. And that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Scott McGregor, and we'll go to the bottom of the second. The 83 Phillies were the Wheeze Kids. Yes, they were. They were the Wheeze Kids. That was an old baseball team that made the World Series. So now we go to the bottom of the second inning with the Orioles leading 2-0. And leading off for B. Moore is going to be the second baseman, Rich Dower. So Carlton will again off of Carlton's card. And that's a 6-4. And now again, RP is a range play. So now we go to Bolt. So we now go to Dower's card. That's a 5-5. 5-5 is a question mark 8. This is a power hit. This is a power hit, what I call the center field. Against the lefty, Dower, a 1 would be a single, a 2-4 would be a double. Now that's a 12. Now that's out of the range of Dower. But so now this becomes a fly ball to center field, but it is still a range play. So now it's up to Gary Maddox to try to make a play. His range in center field is a 3. So a 1-3, he will make the play. If he doesn't, it's either a single or a double. And he will make the play this time. And that's going to be a fly out to center field. And that'll be handled by Maddox for out number 1. As he does get the ground there. Next up is the third baseman, Todd Cruz for the Orioles. Not a great hitter, but pretty good in the field, actually. Made a few errors, though. 199 average. Todd Cruz is the one of the main infielders for B. Moore that year. So Carlton will go ahead and pitch. So off the bat, pitcher card. 3-6 is a strikeout. Against the lefty, Cruz is an 11. +1 makes him a 12. That is a 12. I call that a called strikeout when it's higher than – I call it usually a called strikeout when the number is right on the number of the batter or a little bit over or in the range of the ballpark. I call that a called strikeout. He does get him, and that's strikeout number 2 for lefty. And now we'll see the Baltimore catcher, Rick Dempsey. I'm using him as the catcher for the game. 231 average. Very good, excellent behind the plate. 5'5". Rick Dempsey, one of the better fielding catchers in baseball. So he will go ahead and go up against Carlton. Now, for those of you wondering what this double sign means, this double sign means this is a pitcher with a batting card. So because Chris Davis did create batting cards for certain pitchers that had a high amount of bats. If they didn't qualify, he has a team pitcher batting card. Now, of course, in the DH years, people ask me, well, how do I play a World Series with a pitcher, okay, from the American League team who never batted? Well, what I did is I created some some generic player cards for that reason. And you'll see those, of course, in the upcoming 83 World Series. Haven't used them recently because the last 2 seasons I did were 72 and 69. The DH wasn't in there yet. So Carlton will go ahead and he will pitch. And that's a 4-6. A 4-6, ET question mark. Error on a throw. So now we go to Dempsey. And Dempsey's a 6-1. A 6-1 comes up as a P5. That's a pop out. That's not going to be a throwing error. That's just going to be a pop fly ball to third base. That'll be grabbed by some bum by the name of Schmidt. And a very good comeback inning for lefty. 1-2-3 go the Orioles, but they lead 2-0 after 2 in this demo game. We'll now go to the top of the third in this demo game. I'm going to try to speed things up a little bit now, but if anything comes up a little bit differently, I'll slow down. But now I'm going to try to speed things up. So a throwing error check would only come into play if the batter grounded out. Yes, or if it's a possible infield single, and if that comes up, I'll show you exactly how that works. And yes, if there's a throwing error, you also check to see on the first person that throws it, and the pivot man if it's a possible double play. But we'll see when we get there. So 2-0 in favor of the Orioles, and leading off for the Phillies is going to be Bo Diaz. I'm going to try to speed up a little bit. But yes, ask your questions, please. This is a question and answer session here for Inside Pitch. But again, ask me about mechanics. Don't ask me about ratings. I know a lot of people have issues with some of the ratings of the game. That's how his game engine did it. If you really have any issues, please ask him. He'll be more than happy to explain to you why that rating came up there. And he actually has said that some of his ratings were wrong because some of his older seasons, he used a different rating engine. He is now using a brand new piece of software that apparently is simulating his seasons. According to Craig Scarborough, who happens to be in the chat, by the way, I think he said this new software is simulating his seasons 1,000 times. So we decided to make changes to the charts to see if he can get closer for this version. All right. I've been trying to get him to get the remaining 4 seasons done, and I've been harping on him to do it. There are a couple of things I wasn't too crazy about, and you'll see what I'm talking about if that comes up. Remember, guys, you can play this game the way you want. It's not going to really – all there is maybe a change in the mechanics, not in the stats. So McGregor will now pitch to Diaz. Let's see how he does. So that's going to be a 6-4. 6-4 is a strikeout. Diaz against the lefties a 5, plus 1 is a 6. That is a 2, and that's going to be a called strike 3 on Bo Diaz, and that will be the first strikeout from McGregor. He had 86 Ks in 83. Now the Phillies will bring up the shortstop, Ivan DeJesus, and he will come up to bat now, lefty on righty. McGregor, 1-5. That is a blank. Now, if it comes up a blank, it automatically goes to the pitcher card. Pretty much a blank means the pitcher just pretty much had a normal at-bat against the batter. Normal at-bat. Did not really control it. You go to DeJesus' card, it's a 5-6. And I am using, for those of you wondering, orange, white, and black dice because the Orioles are at home. The colored die is the top line, and the white die, I always use the colored die as the top, and the white die I always use as the side. So a 5-6. Now we have a split chance on the batter. DeJesus against a righty at a 5-6 would be an F9. Is an F9. But McGregor is a lefty, so we now go to the left side of DeJesus, and that's a D. That is going to be a double to right field. So it also depends. Now, of course, I don't want to hear about the cookie cutter cards. I really don't want to discuss that. I know people have issues with it. But in this case, it is a split, and that is a double, okay, to right field. So DeJesus will have a double to right, and he will hold at second base. And now the Phillies will bring up their first baseman, Hall of Famer, Tony Perez. Perez is the first baseman. And we'll see what we got here. So McGregor, now we roll this. Now with runner at second base, I'll keep the infield back. We are rolling a strat to see if maybe let's see what we get on a strategy. That is a 9. De Jesus, to try to steal third, you divide the attempt running by half, and of course, remove McGregor. Well, 2 minus 2 is 0. He's not going to steal third at all. And that 9 is too high for anything, so it's going to be a blank. So we're going to roll regularly. So a 2-2 up McGregor card, that is a blank on the Perez's card. 2-1, and that is a ground ball to short. That's a ground ball to short. So we know the play is going to be at first, but what happens to Jesus? Let's go to the chart. So with a runner on second, we'll stay here. Runner holds on balls hit the shortstop or pitcher if roll is higher than base running rating of runner, otherwise advance to third. We know Perez is out at first. That's out number 2. De Jesus' base running rating is a 3. You're going to roll one die to see if he takes third base. A 3 or lower, he gets there. That is a 3, and he will. So it was a slow enough grounder, and De Jesus had enough speed to get to third. And so he moves to third on that. But there are 2 outs. So the runner moves over, and that is a ground ball. That was a ground ball to short. So top of the order now for the Phillies, here's Hayes. And Hayes is 0 for 1. With 2 outs, the infield will stay back. We do roll a strategy. That is a 20. Now a 20 comes up. Now you check the bulk, pickoff, or pickoff error rating. On a 20, a 1 to 3, we re-roll the D20. A 1 to 3 would be a pickoff, which means Ivan De Jesus would be picked off a third. A 4 would be a pickoff error. I know there were not many runners picked off a third, but so in this case, but that does happen. In this case, when I have a runner on third and that comes up, I kind of think that McGregor threw to the catcher, and the catcher made an assist to third base to try to get it. So we re-roll the D20. A 1 to 3, De Jesus is out. A 4, there's going to be an error. That is a 4. That's going to be a pickoff error on McGregor. So he probably pitched it he threw it to Rick Dempsey, but Dempsey went ahead and threw the ball away trying to get De Jesus, and De Jesus is going to score, and the Phillies are going to get on the board now. It's going to be 2-1. So now you see how that works. And that's going to be, I'm going to call that an E. I could give the catcher the error, which I probably will do. Diaz's error, Dempsey's error rating is a 2. Didn't make many errors. Since in my opinion his error rating is lower than, I'm going to give it an E2 if you want, but I'm going to say it's still a pickoff error. So we'll make it an E2, which allows De Jesus to score. That's the first error on the Orioles. And the Phillies now get a run. So a pickoff error. McGregor threw the catcher. He threw trying to get that off, trying to get De Jesus, threw it away. Probably the Orioles weren't ready for that, and the run scores. So now with bases empty, McGregor will go ahead and pitch to Hayes. 3-4, and there is strikeout against the lefty. 9 plus 1 is 10. That's a 12. It's too high. So Von Hayes gets to swing. 3-4, and here we have an S9. That's a base hit to right field. Simple swing to right, and Von Hayes gets his first hit of the game. That will bring up Charlie Hustle, and he's 0 for 1. We still roll strategy. Von Hayes has a 6. -2 makes him a 4. He had 20 stolen bases. Pete Rose against the lefties a 3. But with 2 outs, I'm not going to do hit and runs. But let's see if Hayes gets a chance to steal here. So a 6 -2 is a 4. And he does. So that is a 3. We're going to try to steal. So Von Hayes is going to try to steal second base. This is how you do that. Stolen base rating for Von Hayes is a 13. McGregor is a -1, so you can make that a 12. The catcher is Dempsey. Dempsey has a -1 arm. So that would be an 11. So Von Hayes would steal second base on a 1 to 11. A 1 or a 2, it's a possible error on the catcher. A 20, anytime a 20 comes up, the runner is out no matter what. So you roll the D20. And that's a 6, and Von Hayes is going to steal the base. Even with 2 outs, I sent him because I'm trying to go ahead and demo some of the aspects of the game, and that's how you get a stolen base there. So Von Hayes does steal second base, and you re-roll the strategy because you always should roll the strategy die when the base running situation changes. That is an 11. This time Hayes stays at second base. Okay. So now we'll go to McGregor. He'll pitch. 1-1. And there you go. The dreaded RP, the range play. So now we see what Rose does. You go to his card. That's a 5-2. Now a 5-2, he has a split. Against the righty, it's a ground out to second. Against the lefty, it's a single past second. But it's a range play for the Orioles. And that is Rich Dower. Dower's at second base. And his range is a 2. So a 1 or a 2, he'll go. That's going to be an out. If not, it's going to be a single pass. It's going to be a single pass second. It's a 2. Nice play by Rich Dower. He's over there to go ahead and grab it. He'll throw to first to get Rose, and that will end the inning. So 1 run on 2 hits, and 1 error and 1 stolen base. And we will go to the bottom of the 3rd. So Carlton back on the mounds. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning here. And we'll try to, again, I'm going to try to speed things up. So now basic plays, we're just going to watch through. So here's Bunbury. Carlton, a 6-1. Now we have a home run, an HR question mark. This is a thing where maybe the pitcher put a ball right over the plate. So when you come up with an HR question mark, you go to this section right here. Carlton gave up 20 home runs in 283 innings pitched in 83. You're going to first check the handedness of the batter. Al Bunbury is a lefty. And so now you check here, and you're going to check the D20. A 1 to 5, this becomes a home run chance for the batter. Well, we check the D20, and it is a 10. It is outside of that, so Carlton did not make a fat pitch. That becomes a blank, and now you go to the batter card. And that is a 1-1. Bunbury has an L4. That's a line out to second. That's just a hard line drive right to Joe Morgan, but he makes the play, and that's out number 1. So far this demo game, we're getting a lot of results, which is actually pretty good. Sometimes I've had demo games where we haven't gone through hardly anything. So now the batter is Ford. So Carlton, a 5-2. Now we have another one here. Against the righty, against the lefty, it's a blank. But against the righty, it's a K+. This is a strikeout plus 10. You're going to add 10 to the strikeout rating. This means that the pitcher had very good command of the at-bat. Ford is a righty. So, and against the lefty, he is a 9. Plus 1 is a 10. But you're adding 10 for the strikeout plus 10, which makes him a 20. Carlton owns him that at-bat. And that's going to be a strikeout, and that'll be the 3rd K for Carlton. So his 9 plus 1 becomes a 10. Plus 10 from strikeout from K plus is a 20. Same works with W plus, which would be a walk plus 10, which means the pitcher had no control at that at bat. So here comes young Ripken, 2 outs. Carlton, 6-1. Once again, home run, HR again. Once again, HR question mark. So a possible bad pitch by Carlton. Against the righty, though, Ripken, it's only a 1 that he's going to be able to throw a bad pitch. That's an 18. It's too high. So it's a blank. It will now go to Ripken's card. And that's a 6-1. And Ripken's going to go F9. That's a fly to right. And that will be a 1-2-3 inning for Carlton. So it's still 2-1 Orioles here after 3. We've now played 3 innings. Does anybody have any questions? The chat hasn't moved lately. I got 23 people watching. So is anybody, are they enjoying how this is going? Are we having fun or something like that? That'd be good. We haven't gotten to this yet. We'll see if we do. If we do not get to this card, if a ball is not, if there's nobody on base and there's nobody hit to the outfield, which is, it can happen, okay? I'll try to do a demonstration on that. But let's play the game as it is. So top of the fourth, 2-1 Orioles. And Gary Matthews will lead off. He's 0 for 1. So let's see. 5-1. Now we have a double question mark. We're getting a lot of results here, which is good. Now you have a double question mark on the pitcher card. You go to this section, okay? I call this a pitcher result, but a double question mark. It is in parentheses, which means that if he was tired, he would probably be, and he was already tired, should be removed. But it's a double question mark. You go to this section here, and you check. Against a lefty, a 1 would be an automatic out. Against a righty, 1 to 15 would be an automatic out. Matthews is a righty, and that is a 12. So against a righty, a 1 to 15 does fit into that. So now it's good. So now you go to the star line from McGregor, re-roll, and that's going to be a fly out to center field. Pretty much what that means is that McGregor had good control, he had good control of at bats against a good control of bat against a right-handed batter. Here's Schmidt. Oh yeah, Mike Terra. Thank you very much there, Mike Terra Supernova. So here's Schmitty, some bum that says he'll be the greatest third baseman ever. Maybe. McGregor will pitch. So a 2-4, and that is a blank. And we'll go to Schmidt's card. Schmidt will roll 5-2, and that is a G4, and he just grounds out to second base for out number 2. Captain Carl, you're welcome for the demo explanations. It was a great reminder. If you have questions, I'll playing later. Yes. I don't, of course, get to all people's questions, but that's how we pretty much, that's how it comes up sometimes when I play the demo game. The thing about the demo game, you're not guaranteed to get everything to happen in a demo game. But I do know people are asking about this and about this. We will get to that one way or the other. So here's Morgan, and he's 0 for 1. So McGregor will pitch. That is a 5-5. And now it comes to the @ sign. So this goes to the park. Memorial Stadium is a 2-5. And now here, Memorial Stadium, we have an HR0. HR0. This is a home run to the opposite, a possible home run to the opposite field. This is a home run, possible home run to the opposite field. Okay. Now you got to check to see if the batter card hits one, if the batter hits one out off the ballpark. Joe Morgan is a lefty. His opposite field is left field. So now against the lefty, Morgan is a 9. So a 1 to 9, he will hit one to the opposite. This will be a home run over the left field wall. Well, we don't have to re-roll because that's a 3. And Joe Morgan against the lefty is a 9. And that's going to be that's going to be a bomb. So Joe Morgan says, kaboom! High, deep, and gone. Joe Morgan hits a blast. And the game is tied. The reason why the pull home run to opposite field comes up is in case if it's not a home run or if it's a range play, depending where the fielder is good, who has to try to field the ball. But in this case, Morgan hit one over the left field wall. We're tied at 2. So a home run for Joe Morgan. He had 16 of them in 83. How do you determine when a pitcher is tired? And Scott McGregor's card, you have batters faced and a combined and a pull rating. When the pitcher faces more than 30 batters or more, after 30 batters, not 30, but after 30 batters, he becomes tired. And then these parentheses will come into play. So a KW, a strikeout chance will become a walk chance, although that's been changed now. Okay. And this would be a blank if it was not tired. It would be a base hit if he was. Okay. This is a pull rating, which is a combined hits, walks, or runs that the pitcher gives up. You should score your game to see what happens. Right now, Scott, that is a home run given up by McGregor, and McGregor has given up 2 runs on 1, 2, 3 hits. He has not walked anybody. So right now his pull rating is 5 compared to 13. As I said, I may be using that to fatigue pitchers a little bit when a pitcher is getting shelled. But that is how you determine if a pitcher is tired. If he's faced more batters than here. So McGregor can face 30 batters before getting tired, and Carlton can face 32 batters before getting tired. Ginger Beard, I would like to mention, this is the year 1983 when pitchers usually went deep into a ball game. They usually pitch into the starters, usually pitched. It's a sum of hits, walks, and runs, Dev09, and runs. So it's a sum of hits and walks and runs. Runs do count. You can't, some people say you don't declare unearned runs. Chris has not said that. So it's a combination of hits, runs, and walks. So if a home run, is made, all right. So if a home run, intentional walks, I count. I do count intentional walks. You don't have to, but you can count intentional walks, and I do count them. But that's only when a pitcher is already reached this mark. Good to see you, Lucas McCain. So, as I was saying here, so that's how you get a fatigue. Remember, of course, now if you're playing a more modern season like the 2020s, these numbers are a lot lower. But that's because pitchers today pitched maybe 8, 9, 7, 16, 17, 18 batters, and they're already declared tired. If you want to say, you don't have to really say tired if you want to say they're tired. You could just say this is the amount of batters they face normally in a ball game. Remember, this is the 1980s. This is not 2020s where a pitcher pitches to 2 batters and all of a sudden he's tired. Like I said, modern day baseball is a lot more wonky than it was back then. I still love it though. Don't get me wrong. I still love modern day baseball. So we had a home run. So now the batter is Maddox. We're tied at 2 now. So McGregor will pitch. That's a 1-2. Now we have a split on here. Against the lefty, it's a strikeout chance. Against the righty, it's a walk chance. Maddox is a righty, and so we're going to check a walk. Maddox against the lefty is a 3, plus 1 is a 4. That's a 15. It's too high. So he did not walk much against left-handed pitching. So when we roll off of Maddox's card, that's a 4-4, and that's going to be a G4. That's a ground out to second base, and that will do it. 1 run on 1 hit for the Phillies, and we're now tied at 2 here going in the bottom of the 4th. I would like to say one thing. I've done a couple of test runs of this 1983 season compared to the 1969 season I just ended. There's a difference there is a difference in the atmosphere and of gameplay. There really is. He got these cards right. Bottom of the 4th for B-Moore. Here's Eddie Murray, and he's 0 for 1. Yes, Badger and Bournemouth fan. Yes, my good man. Another season approaches. Absolutely. This is the demo game. The opening day game is between the Braves and the Reds. That will be January 6th at 8 p.m. It'll be Phil Niekro versus Mario Soto. And, of course, that's the return of the 10-minute ticker. Carlton will pitch 6-6, and that is a strikeout against the lefty. Murray's an 8, plus 1 is a 9. That's a 5. He whiffs. And that's going to be the 4th K for lefty. He had 275 strikeouts in 83. He was still dealing. Does he make adjustments to the cards themselves over time or just charts? He has only made adjustments to the charts. He does not want to make adjustments to the cards, although when you see 02, 03, 05, 06, you may see a few adjustments, and that'll let you decide. And the one thing, I will mention this, every one of his cards has K parentheses W. He's going to start doing KHR. So now one of the changes for version 4, instead of a K and a walk chance, is now a K and a home run chance if he's tired. You're going to see that, which kind of messes up the uniformity of the game, because now there could be 4 seasons that are now going to have KHR on the pitcher cards instead of KW on every other card. Please believe me, I argued that till I was blue in the face for him not to do that in these last 4 seasons. It's up to you guys if you still want to play it that way. So there is going to be a little bit of uniformity with these last 4 seasons, he said. Who knows? Maybe he'll still take my advice and still make it the way it is, but we'll see. Either way, it doesn't take away anything from the game. It's just a little bit of a change. Remember, there are some games that have made changes. Remember, Stratomatic, when they remastered their seasons, they made changes to their player cards. Okay? APA made changes when they added the master game. Even Fall Classic made a few adjustments as well to their rules and such. Even Fall Classic did. All right. I gotta give Chris some credit though. All he wants to do is make the game better. He is a perfectionist. He doesn't like it when there's an error. And trust me, he hates me sometimes when I point them out. All right. But he's a perfectionist and he cares about you guys. That's for sure. All right. As I said, he's put the version 4 charts into the forums. He wants you guys to test them. He wants your input. Just because he creates the charts that says, here they are, play them, and that's it. It's a beta. No. If you think there's something maybe that needs to be changed, let him know in the forum. Let him know and let him decide. Please respect his decision if he says no, but he has taken some of he has taken some of my suggestions. He has taken some suggestions from Baseball Demos. He has taken suggestions from Rick Query, he has taken suggestions from a lot of people out there. Give him a suggestion and let him run it through his math. Let him run it through his radar and see if it makes sense to do it. If it says no, it's no, and that's the way it is. It is his game. We just play it. Bottom of the 4th. 1 out. Gary Renicky is up. So Carlton, 1-2, strikeout. Against the lefty is a 5, +1 is a 6. That's a 3. Got him. And that is the 5th strikeout for Carlton. So lefty right now is beginning the deal. No problem there, Davo9. This forum, this demo game is for you to ask questions, okay, and watch me play the game. Because when I do regular season, I go through the game fast. It takes about maybe an hour for me to go through a regular season game without extra innings or something like that. I do use some of the baseball rules of the day for the games in the past, although we haven't had to use ghost runners in a regular season game. I do use ghost runners, okay, in a regular season game if a starting pitcher has to come in. But that's for another time. Here's Singleton. Singleton is 0 for 1. Carlton's card, 1-4. And now we have a W plus. So this is a walk plus. So now he did not have good control of this at bat. Okay. So we have a W plus. So now you're going to add 10 to the walk rating. So Singleton is a 16, +1 is a 17. Don't need to check the die. You already know that's over 20, and that's an automatic walk. So he gets 2 strikeouts, then he walks Singleton, and now the batter is Dower. Dower is 0 for 1. What's the most strikeouts a pitcher has had? I think I had 16. I think 16 is the most I've had. I think. And I'm not 100% sure which pitcher it was, but I think 16 is the most. So Singleton's on first. We are rolling a strategy. That's a 17. Singleton's not doing anything. 4-1. Now Carlton comes back with a K. That's a strikeout chance. Against the lefty, Dower is a 3, +1 is a 4. That's a 15. It's too high, so Dower swings. 4-6, and that is a G6. That's a ground ball to short, and they're going to go throw to second to get Singleton. He's slow as mud, and that will do it. So nothing across except the walk. Tied at 2 here after 4. So after giving up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning, Steve Carlton has pretty much owned the Orioles the rest of the way. So let's go to the fifth. Let's go to the fifth inning now. So we have Bo Diaz leading off for the Phillies, and he is 0 for 1. So McGregor will pitch to Diaz. Let's see what he's got. That's a 6-4. 6-4 strikeout against the lefty of 5. +1 is a 6. That's a 1. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. And that is the second strikeout for McGregor. He was not really a strikeout pitcher in 83. He only had 86 of them. He did have a very good record. He was 18-7 with a 3.18 ERA. And 3.18 is pretty good. Here's DeJesus. He got a double his first time up. McGregor will pitch 1-1. RP. That's a range play. So now we go to DeJesus. So now we check DeJesus's card. And of course, the dice continue. No matter what, they always jump out. That's a 4-1. A 4-1 here is an S6. That's a single pass short, but it's a range play. The shortstop for the Orioles is Ripken. Ripken's range in 83 is a 4. So a 1-4, he's gonna turn that into an out. It's a 3. He does. Ripken's got it. Throws to first for out number 2, and that becomes a ground out to short. The one thing about these, you don't need to check charts for range or things like that. You know, where any time a range play came up, you always have to check a chart. The one thing, remember, none of these charts resolve a play. It will tell you where it will tell you where a base runner stops or something and give you modifications. The only charts that resolve a play are the bunt charts. They're the only charts that resolve a play, and they're the only charts that resolve a play. Everything else is done by the dice. So 2 outs. Here's Perez. McGregor, 1-6, and that's a walk chance against the lefty. Perez is a 15, +1 is a 16. That's a 9, and he'll walk him. So McGregor will walk Perez, and that is the first walk issued by McGregor. He didn't walk many batters. 43 batters out of 260 innings pitched is pretty darn good. So now here's Hayes, and Perez on it first. 2 outs. We do roll a strategy roll because McGregor has a chance for pickoff, and you're probably not going to steal. Now, Perez has an H here. That means the only way he would steal is in a possible hit and run. With 2 outs, hit and runs usually don't do it. So, actually, I didn't roll the strat, right? So let's roll the strat. Roll the strat. That's a 9, nothing happening. McGregor will pitch now, 5-3. 5-3 is at the park. Now we go to Memorial Stadium. And that's a 3-5. A 3-5, once again, is an S+8. That's a single to center field, but it's a single plus, which means the batter has to try to take second. Perez automatically makes third. Hayes has got to go to second. Hayes was very quick. His base running rating is a 5. Center fielder Maddox has a +2 arm, which makes him a 7. That's going to be an automatic. That's going to be automatically gets to second base. It's not going to be a roll. If it's 6 and higher, he automatically takes the base. Von Hayes was very fast. So that's going to be a double really for Hayes. And that's his second hit of the game. He's automatically get the base with that speed. Maddox isn't the center. No, not Maddox. Center fielder is Bunbury. He's a +1, so it's still a 6. He still gets it. My bad. So yes, Bunbury. I keep on forgetting who's in the field sometimes. So yeah, Bunbury's a +1. That's still a 5 +1 is a 6. He'll automatically get it. So Von Hayes will go ahead and get second base on an S+. So it's now runners at second and third with 2 outs. And now here's Charlie Hustle. May he rest in peace. So now runners at second and third. McGregor here in a bit of a jam. So center field, let's roll the strategy. And that's a 10. Nothing happening there. So Phillies a chance to get a lead here. McGregor rolls. That's a 6-6. And against it, now we have a split chance. McGregor against the lefty would be an automatic out. Against the righty, be a blank. Rose is a switch hitter. McGregor is a lefty. Is a lefty. So Rose would be hitting from the right side. So in this case, it's against a righty, and that's a blank, which means Rose is going to get the swing. 2-1, but Rose is just going to lift it to left field. It'll be a fly out to left, and that's going to end the inning. So no runs, 2 hits for the Phillies. No runs, 1 hit for the Phillies. They had a walk. No runs, 1 hit, and it stays 2-2. Any prediction of the Miami-Cleveland game? I really don't care, only because my Dolphin season is over, and I really don't care right now. My season's done, and not really. But if I was to make a prediction, since Tua's not going to play, Cleveland will win. All right, so now we go to the bottom of the 5th. Carlton will come back on the mound, and Todd Cruz will bat for Baltimore. Carlton has pitched. He can pitch to 32 batters before he tires. He's only pitched to 16, so he's got plenty of gas left in the tank. Carlton, let's see, rolls a 1-6 range play at the park. So now we go to Memorial Stadium to see if there's a range play, and that is a 4-4. A 4-4 is a grounder right at the plate. Now, there is a new rule. There is a new rule on catchers, okay? And I'll show you that right here. New rule on catchers. All G2 and P2 from at the park, not range play at the park, are checked for errors. Now, if that was just a regular at the park, I would have to check the catcher for the Phillies, who is Diaz, and roll against his error rating to see if he commits an error. But this is a range play at the park. So now I got to check to see if he makes the play at the plate. And Diaz's range is a 4. His range is a 4. So a 1-4, he's going to make the play at the plate. He does, and he'll throw Cruz out at first, and that's out number 1. So now, if you're playing, Miami can still make the playoffs. Let's not be ridiculous, Badger. All right, so the rule is now, for those of you who, one of the rules he has in version 4. Now remember, this is version 4. It's beta. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. If you don't like it, fine, don't use it. Play the game you want. But his version 4 rule states, anytime the catcher comes up in the ballpark, if it is not a range play check, okay, you got to roll against the catcher's error rating to see if he makes an error, which does mean that if you have a catcher with an error rating of 20, that's going to be an automatic error off the ballpark card. I argued that with him. He said, according to his math, it works out that way. I said, okay. So if you have an error rating of 20 and it's okay, it's going to be an automatic error off the ballpark card. Not or the batter card, if anything like that too. But I don't think many batters have hits at the plate. Not many of them. So that would be an automatic error if he has a 20. If not, you got to roll to see if he makes the error. I argued that, but that was his decision. Here comes Dempsey. Carlton will pitch to him. So off the batter card, 1-4. Here we go. A walk plus. Against the lefty, Dempsey becomes a 12. That's a 22. You don't have to go any further than that. You already know that's going to be a walk. So anytime it's 20 or higher, you don't even have to check the D20. You already know that's going to be a strikeout or a walk. And that is the second walk issued by lefty. He had 74 walks in 283 innings pitched. That's not bad. So now Dempsey is on at first. And now the batter is Bunbury. Low-scoring game here. So Carlton will pitch to Bunbury. We are checking a strategy roll. And that is a 19. Now, that means a bunt chance. Bunbury has a bunt rating of 4. Now, I'll show you the bunts. So here's the bunt chart. For hitters, if you come up in this area for a bunt, it shows a bunt is available to go ahead and do it. Bunbury is a 4. That's a 19. And he comes up as a bunt rating of 4. And that means that he can bunt. He can bunt in this situation. We're going to go ahead and do that so I can show you the bunt. So his bunt rating is a 4. I'm going to say the infield is going to play at double play depth. So now you're going to do is you're going to check this chart. Now, the first thing you got to do, you still got to roll for the pitcher to see what he does. So let's see what Carlton does. So Bunbury is going to try to bunt. Dempsey over to second. That's a 3-1. Now, a 3-1 comes up a K. But now, when you check this section here, possible Ks, K pluses, cut in half. So when a bunt is attempted, the strikeout rating of the batter is halved. He can still strike out, though. So against the lefty, Bunbury is a 5, +1 is a 6. But he's bunting. So that now becomes a 3. The 13 is too high. So now you roll the bunt. And what I like to do is I like to roll the D6 first, because that tells me where the bunt is going. And that is a 4. And that comes up as a bunt to the first base. So that is a bunt to the first baseman. I'm going to say he's holding. I'm going to say they were double play depth, but he would then be holding Dempsey on. So now you roll. So I'm going to say Bunbury's bunt rating is going to stay the same here. So now you roll a D20, and that is a 7, and you check the bunt chart. His bunt rating is a 4, and that is a 7. It's a good bunt, so it's a successful sacrifice bunt, and you're not bunting for a hit. So it's a successful sacrifice bunt, which means it's an easy play. So Bunbury's thrown out. That's going to be hit to the first baseman. Carlton's going to cover, and Dempsey will get to second, and that will be an out. So it's a successful sacrifice hit for Bunbury to first base and moves Dempsey over to scoring position. I did that to show you how it works. What is the purpose of a walk plus versus just a regular walk? Walk plus means that the pitcher had had no control in the at-bat. A regular walk means it more depends on the batter to walk. If you want, you could say a batter with a high walk rating had a very good eye to draw. It drew a lot of walks. A batter with a low walk rating, okay, did not have that good an eye. A pitcher with a walk plus means he had no control in that bat, had a very bad at bat, and walked. So pretty much a W plus means the pitcher didn't really have any control in that at bat. A regular walk, it more depends upon the batter than it does the pitcher. So Steve Carlton, if you look at his card, he only had 74 walks and 283 at bats. He has only 2 W pluses on the card. He does have, and that's all, and that really is all he has. He didn't have, and that's all he has really is 2 W pluses. He doesn't have any W's on their own. So he had pretty much good control most of his time. 74 batters at 283 innings pitched. That's pretty good. So Dempsey's on its second on the bunt. So now Dan Ford will bat with 2 outs. Still rolling a strat to see what happens. That's a 3. Dempsey is not going anywhere. He'll stay at second base. So Carlton will pitch. 4-4. And now we have a HBP. We have a possible hit batter. Well, we're getting everything in this demo game. So a hit by pitch. Now you check the hit batter rating. Dan Ford has a hit by pitch of 5. But then you check this section here on Carlton's card. It's a -1. Subtracts 1 from the hit batter rating. So he would hit Ford on a 4 or lower. That's a 20. He does not hit him. So that's an automatic blank. And now you roll on the batter's card. Ford has a 4-6. And that's going to be an F7. It's going to be a fly out to left. And that's going to be the inning. So nothing across except the walk. As Carlton has definitely calmed down since the first inning. It stays 2-2 after 5. We go to the 6th. We go to the 6th inning. Gary Matthews will lead off. McGregor can pitch to 30 batters before tiring, and he has pitched right now to 20. So McGregor will pitch to Matthews. Matthews is 0 for 2. That's a 3-4. A 3-4 is a K with a W here. Now, his new rule says that W is now an HR. So this would be a home run result right off the batter card if he was fatigued. So since we're doing and I'll show you again right here, play KW like a KHR with home run D20 home check on hitter. He is not tired, so it is a strikeout chance instead of a walk chance. So Matthews against the lefty is a 9, plus 1 is a 10. That 17 is too high. If he was tired, we would go right to his home run rating. And, of course, if that happened, I automatically would take the pitcher out. That's the version 4 rule he wants to do. He wants to do either all W's into KHR. It's up to you guys if you want to do that. That is up to you guys. I'm still working on something that, to me, what I may do is I would roll a KW first. If it's not a walk, I would then check the home run rating to see if it's a chance of a home run. But I'm still working. And yes, you guys are wondering if I do house rules. Do I have any house rules? We're going to pop outs being foul outs and things like that. Everyone has a house rule for every game they play. I'm pretty sure there is not any one of you who play cards and dice that doesn't have a house rule for something. I'm pretty sure all of you have house rules for any game you play. Strat, APA, inside pitch, payoff pitch, fall classic, season ticket. I'm pretty sure every one of you have at least one house rule for some game you play. Whether it's I'm pretty sure all of you do. Here's Matthews. He'll bat. So McGregor will pitch. That was not a strikeout, though. It was too high. So Matthews will swing 5-3, and we have a D8. That's a straight up double for Gary Matthews. So now he has a leadoff double for the Phillies. So we have a man on second, and now the batter is this bum. Schmidt is 0 for 2. Schmidt did hit for the cycle in my 1976 replay. So we have a runner at second base. McGregor will go ahead and he will strategy roll first. That's a 7. Matthews is staying where he is. So McGregor will pitch to Schmidt. That's a 4-3, and that is a blank. Go straight to Schmidt's card. 4-2, and that is an F9. That's a fly ball to right. Matthews may be able to tag up and go to third. We're going to see how that works now. That's a fly ball to right field. Matthews has a base running rating of 4. On flyouts, you now use this chart. Runner on second, less than 2 out, roll 2d6. Fly out to right field has a modification of a 0. The right fielder for the Orioles is Dan Ford. He has a 0 arm. So we roll a d6. A 1 to 4, Matthews will take third. A 5 he holds. A 6, there could be a possibility of an out. It is a 6. Now, you have to roll 6 twice. If you roll double 6s, then the play chart will come into effect here, which is this right here, which we're going to see. So if another 6 comes up, we go to the play chart. If not, Matthews holds at second base. And no, he'll hold. That is a 4. So Matthews does not take second on the fly to right. So there is 1 out. So far, we've had a low-scoring game here and not many hits to the outfield, at least not with runners on base. So here comes Morgan. Morgan hit a bomb his last time up. So again, we roll the strat, and that's a 4, and nothing happening. Matthews will stay put. He has an attempt rating to try to get third. When you try to take third, you divide it by 2. So a 3 minus 2 is a 1. But there's no way, but pretty much Matthews is not going to get third anyway with that. If a 1 came up, yes, you could try to take him, see if you can get to third. He had 13 stolen bases, but he did not steal third often. So McGregor will pitch. That's a 2-1. A 2-1 is a blank. We go to Morgan's card. 4-1, and nope, that's a fly to left field. So Morgan, it's a fly ball to left. Now, can Matthews try to go to third on a fly to left field? Let's go to the chart. So a fly ball to left, -2. Okay, on that ball hit to left field. Here's a house rule I do use. Okay, if Gary Matthews' base running rating is a 2, and that is a -2 mod, that makes him a 0. Now, let's say the fielder in left field has a +1 arm. That would make my house rule, if just by the modification, a 2 -2 is a 0, I don't send him. That's my house rule. Some people don't have to follow that. I just don't send them on that way. But Matthew's going to get a chance. So his base running rating is a 4. Hit the left field -2. Left fielder for the Orioles is Renicky, and he has a -1 arm. So Matthews could get to third on a 1. It's a 6. Again, a chance for maybe a play. Another 6, there could be a play. It's a 3, and he's going to hold. So now there are 2 outs, and Matthews does not try to go to third. Yes, yes. Okay. Now the batter is Maddox with 2 outs. Matthews got a leadoff double, but McGregor keeping him there. Strategy roll, nothing on the 9. McGregor will go ahead and pitch to Maddox. McGregor, a 6-1 is a blank. We go to Maddox's card. 3-3, and that is an S5. This is a single past third. So does Matthews score? Well, he probably will, but now we're going to show you on this advancement chart. So it's a single past third. Gary Matthews is a base running rating of 4, but with 2 outs, you add 1, so it becomes a 5. You check the chart here. A single past third, second to home. A single past third is a base running rating with a 4+ will score from second. He has a 5 with 2 outs, and he will score. So if you look at this chart right here, on a single past third, that is a 4+. He has a 5. Matthews comes around, he will score. Maddox is on first, and the Phillies have taken a 3-2 lead. Stadium groans. An RBI single by Gary Maddox puts the Phillies ahead now 3-2. And now that's where you get the run on advancement past the infielders. That's a single past third, so pretty much it's like to hit through the hole. Now the batter is Diaz, as the Phillies have taken the lead here. So McGregor will pitch to Diaz. Strategy rolls are still good. So let's roll. That's a 3. Maddox is a 3. -2 is a 1. He's not going to get it. I'm not going to send him. So McGregor will pitch. That's a 3-1. Again, it's a blank. Diaz, a 2-6, and that's an L4. That's a line out to second base and hit right to Dower, and the inning is over. 1 run, 2 hits for the Phillies, and they have a 3-2 lead now going in the bottom of the 6th. One thing I like to mention about inside pitch, you get every player. Unlike some games out there, you don't get every player. Inside pitch gives you every player. Payoff pitch gives you every player. Fall Classic gives you every player. I believe APA does as well. So you can get every player with inside pitch, okay, if you get a printed set. Now, there are fringe players that he doesn't send on the printed sets. You go right to the website and you download the fringe players for free for that season you're working on, and then print them out. I use 110-pound card stock, and I have perfect fringe players, okay, for the cards. They match the size pretty much completely. Cal Ripken leads off. He's 1 for 2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-2 Phillies. Carlton will roll first, 2-6, and there you go, a W+. That's a walk plus 10. Against the lefty, Ripken has a 12. You already know that's going to be high enough, and that is going to be a walk for Ripken. That'll be the second walk given up by Carlton. And now here's Murray, Hall of Famer. So far, we've had no double play chances. We'll see what happens here. Ripken had no stolen bases, but I still roll a strategy die to see if there's a balk or a pickoff. Not going to happen. Murray doesn't. His bunt rating is a 1. The 18 is too high for that. So Murray's going to swing, and he would anyway. He's a big-time home run hitter. Carlton is a 6-1, and there you go. Home run question mark. Against a righty, though, because Murray is switch hitter, against the lefty who'll switch right, needs a 1. The 3 is too high, so that's not going to be a home run for Murray. He's going to have to go ahead and swing. 4-5, and that is a ground ball to third. Now we get to check a double play chance. A double play chance. On the old days, when you went into double play depth, you always added 1 if you were in double play depth. Though adding the 1 is now normal. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're back or double play depth. If it's hit to third, second, or short, you add 1 to the double play rating of the batter. Murray has a ground ball double play rating of 2. Carlton, then you add plus or minus to Carlton. He has a 0. So right now, Murray, the chance for hitting a double play is a 2. It's hit to short, a ground to third. It's hit to third. So that now becomes a 3. So a 1, 2, or now you roll a D6. And now you check the pivot rating. The second baseman pivot rating for the Phillies is Joe Morgan. He has a pivot rating of 0. So it's a GDP of the batter, plus or minus the GDP of the pitcher, plus or minus the GDP, the pivot rating of the man trying to throw to first. So that's going to be a 3. So a 1 to 3, it's a double play. A 4 to 5, you check to see if the base running rating of the runner on first is equal to or beats that roll. If it does, he will make it to second base. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be a fielder's choice. Now, one rule he has also, the base running rating, if he's being held by the first baseman, which usually he is, you're going to subtract 1 from the base running rating if it is not hit to first. If it is hit to first, you keep it that way. So a 1, 2, or 3, it's going to be a double play. 4 to 5 is going to be a fielder's choice. If it is a 6, the only play was to first. And it's a 2. That's going to be a double play. So Murray hits into a 5-4-3 double play, and there are 2 outs. That is the first double play hit into in this game. Sometimes I have games where I have a whole bunch of double plays, and then there are some times I don't have any. So that's how you do a double play chance on a ground ball with a runner on first, or runners on first and second, and maybe I should show you the chart, I guess. So let me show you the chart because I didn't do that. So here's the chart. Runner on first, roll versus hitters, ground ball, double play, plus pitcher, double play, plus pivot, plus depth. And then you check here, and you can see +1, +1, +1, third base, shortstop, second base, no change if it's hit to first. I thought I'd show you that. It is on the chart. It is there, and that's where you figure it out. I should show you the chart, shouldn't I? I'm trying to demo this game. So here's Renicky. Renicky is 0 for 2. He struck out twice. So Carlton will pitch. 3-4. That's an error. That is an error on a grounder. That's an EG question mark. This is a possible error on a ground ball. Now we check Renicky. And that is a 4-2. Now a 4-2 is a question mark 8. This is a power hit to center field. We go ahead and check against the lefty. That is a 7. And against the lefty, that's going to be an 8 to 13. That's going to be a double for Gary Renicky. You still check for an error on a ground ball because obviously the ball is grounded in the center field and grounded in the outfield. Now you're still going to check to see if there's an error. And I'll show you how that works if there is one. We already know Renicky is on second base. Now we'll bring up the error chart. Error on a ground ball, and you'll check here a double, and check here D number 5. Okay. Number 5, hit, boots ball, roll 1d6 versus ABR of runner hitter, 1 roll for all. If higher than adjusted base running rating, then the runner hitter only advance 1 extra base, otherwise advance 2 extra bases and normal advancement of hit type. I'll make it easy for you. If there is an error, you're going to add an extra base, and then you're going to roll to see if the runner gets an extra base after that. First, we got to see if there's an error. We've already used the roll, so we got to re-roll. So that's a double to center field. Center fielder for the Phillies is Maddox. Gary Maddox has an error rating of 4. So you're going to roll the D20 again. A 1 to 4, he misses this ball in the outfield, and it's going to be an error. It's a 5. Barely bobbles it, drops it, but picks it up, but Renicky stays at second base. So that's not an error. So that will be a double for Gary Renicky, but Gary Maddox kind of almost misplayed it, but he held on to it, and so Renicky holds at second base. Yes, Terra Supernova, a home run can turn into a double play. So now there's a run. They're tying runs at second. Here is Singleton. Singleton is 0 for 1 with a walk. Still 2 outs here, bottom of the 6th, 3 to 2. So let's see how this works. So we roll a strategy die. That is a 6. Renicky stays at second base. Carlton will pitch. 3-6. Strikeout against the lefty. Singleton is a 10. Plus 1 is an 11. That is a 10. Swing and a miss. Strikeout, and the inning will come to an end. And that is the 6th strikeout for lefty. No runs, a hit, and a walk. Still 3-2 after 6 in this demo game. Hope everybody's enjoying this demo game. And of course, you know this demo game officially opens up the 1983 season, which will begin next Monday between the Braves and the Reds at the stadium at the front of the river. Ivan DeJesus leads off for the Phils. He's 1 for 2. He got a double his first time up. So far, still have not used this card. We'll see. McGregor will pitch. And that's a 3-1. That is a blank. We go to DeJesus' card. 3-4, and that's an S4. That's a single past second, and the Phillies have a base runner. Leadoff hit for DeJesus, and the batter will be Perez. You're confused on line drives, checking for double plays. I will explain that to you. If you get a line drive, Ron McGrath, and it's right here, okay? If there's a liner, let's say you got a runner, let's say you got DeJesus on at first base. Let's say it's hit to, let's say the ball is hit to first. Let's say the ball is hit to second base. He's gonna make the catch, and then you're gonna roll a 1 or a 2. You're gonna roll a 1 or a 2. A 1 or a 2, the runner at first is picked off. Anything higher, there's no double play. Let's see if maybe that'll happen here. So DeJesus is on at first, the top of the 7th. Let's roll a strat, see what happens. That's a 12, nothing happening. So McGregor will go ahead and pitch to Perez. 6-3. And that, against a righty, it's a blank. Against a lefty, it's an out. Perez is a righty. We'll go to Perez's card. 3-6. And that is a ground ball to third. So again, we check for a double play. So double play rating 3. McGregor's a +1 is a 4. It's hit to third. We know it's a +1. It's a 5. The pivot rating for a second baseman, Dower, is a 0. So a 1 to 5, it's going to be a double play. Now, if it goes higher than 5, it cannot go any higher than 5. Okay. A 6 is an automatic, is always a slow rolling grounder where the play is always going to be at first. So a 1 to 5, this is a double play. It is. So Tony Perez grounds out into a 5-4-3. And there are 2 outs just like that. So you're always going to take the GDP of the batter, the GDP of the pitcher, and the GDP of the second baseman, which in this case is Dower, and his pivot rating is a 0. There are 2 outs. And now the batter is Von Hayes. Von Hayes, always a steady. Always felt Von Hayes was a bit underrated. Von Hayes is not underrated. Von Hayes, I think, belongs in the Hall of the Very Good. Very solid player for his career. McGregor will go ahead and pitch. 1-5. That's a blank. So now it goes to Hayes' card. 3-2, and he gets an S4. That's a single past second, and Von Hayes will get his third hit of the game. So Von Hayes is 3 for 4, 2 singles and a double, and that'll bring up Charlie Hustle. Hustle is 0 for 3. He did not have a good year really at the plate in 1983. I know he was getting on there in years. He had a 245 batting average that season. So 2 outs here. And thank you, Mike Terra Supernova. So strategy roll still rolling, and that is a 12 and nothing happening there. So McGregor will go ahead and he will pitch to Rose. And that's a 1-6. That's a walk, straight up walk. Against the lefty, Rose is an 11. Plus 1 is a 12. That's a 1, and he walked him. So now McGregor allows another walk, and that is his second walk of the game by McGregor. And yes, definitely, Ron. I hope everything comes up through there at the VA. You better let us know that everything's okay. Here's Matthews. Matthews got a double his last time up. He's 1 for 3. So let's roll a strategy still. And that's a 19. Nothing happening. Matthews actually has a bunt rating of 3, but he's not going to bunt with 2 outs. So McGregor will pitch. 4-2. Now we have an ET question mark. Error on a throw. Now we roll the righty. 1-1. Now that is a ground ball to short. That's a ground ball to the shortstop. We got to see if there's an error on a throw. That's hit the shortstop. Shortstop for Baltimore is Ripken. His error rating is an 8. That is an 8. He's going to throw the ball away. That's going to be an error on Cal Ripken. Now with 2 outs, I figure the throw probably would have went to first. So now it's a throwing error. It's an error on a throw. So let's go ahead and go to the chart. So let's go to the chart here. So an S. So G, it's a 6 here on an error on a throw. Throwing error with potential for advancing another base on bad throw. Go through steps below. So now what you got to do on an error on a throw on a G set, on a grounder, you got to see if where he's throwing it to, okay, has the bet. Okay, makes a range play to prevent the ball from getting past him. So, let's see. Murray's range at first base is a 4. Dower's range at second base is a 2. I'm going to say he threw to first. So, it's a throwing error. So, a 1-4, Murray prevents the ball from getting past him, and it's only a 1-base error. He doesn't. That gets past him. Now, we already know that the runners have moved up a base. Now you see if the runners take an extra base. Von Hayes' base running rating is a 5. With 2 outs, though, it becomes a 6. That's going to automatically... I still roll, though, to see if Pete Rose and Matthews take an extra base. We know Hayes is going to score on the error, but Rose has a base running rating of 2. That is a 6. He does not take third on the throwing error, but Hayes does come in to score. That's going to be a 4-2 lead on the Phillies, and that is an error on Ripken, and that goes as an E6. And that is the second error on the Orioles. So the run scores on a bad error by Ripken. Rose holds at second base. Now, and he will stay there. If Rose had gotten to second, Matthews with a base running rating of 4, because you only roll the die once. That would have told you Matthews, of course, would have taken second on the throw. But Rose stops at second base because he's not that fast, but is now a 4-2 Philly lead. And that is the second error on the Orioles. And now the batter will be Schmidt. And I should show you on the chart here. So again, here I am trying to demo the game. Unfortunately, the print is so small. So now roll 1d6, check against the range of the errant throw receiver. If higher than his range, step 2. Otherwise, he kept the poor throw from getting by him, thus making it only a 1-base error. Step 2, roll 1d6. Check against the all runners, including the hitter. If higher than runner hitter, they hold. Otherwise, they get an extra base. There must be a base available to move up, or they hold as well. So if you have any questions on that, just read that. That's actually pretty clear. Okay. So that's how it happens on an error on a throw on a grounder. So Schmidt is the batter. He's for 3. He hasn't done anything today. And now it's a 4-2. We're still going to roll a strat. And that is a 2. Now, Pete Rose is not going anywhere. He'll stay at second base. So McGregor will now pitch to Schmidt. 5-6. And that against a righty is a blank. Against a lefty, it's an automatic out. Schmidt's a righty. That'll be a blank. And Schmidt rolls a 5-3. And against a righty, that would be a fly out to left. But against a lefty, this is a double to left. We're finally going to get to see this chart work. That's a double to left field by Mike Schmidt. We know Pete Rose scores. The question is, does Matthews score from first? Let's find out. And this is the first time, and this is one of the only times I've got a chance here. Gary Matthews has a base running rating of 4. What he's done now, in the old days, you rolled 2 D6s. You're now rolling a D20. And now I think I need to put the chart out here. So here's the new chart. So we know we're rolling on a double, and there are 2 outs. So we're going to use this. We're going to use a roll here. So now we go ahead and roll a D20 and a D6. So let's roll the D20. And that comes as a 10. Now we could check here under 2 outs because there is a 10 with first double a home, a 10, second home, third. Third. Now he is saying that now the base running rating is no longer always going to come into play. This came up as the third, which means Matthews does not score from first. He automatically stops at third. We do not check any further. All it automatically does now, we just stops at third. If this came up a 1-3 or a 4-8, there would have been a chance for him to score. He says now you'll stop at third on a 9 or 10 on a double first to home. On the old chart, if I'm right, a double, and that was what? A double to, what was that? That was a double to left field. A double to left on the old chart. Let's see if now this came up this way. Let's see what happens if it came up a 1-3, or 4-8. If lead runner ABR is greater than or equal to the roll, then you advance. Well, Gary Matthews has a base running rating of 4. With 2 outs, he's a 5. Okay. And a double to left field for the Orioles, a -1. So now a 1-4, he would advance. That's a 6. He won't. That's a 6. He won't. Now you only roll to see if there's a out if it comes up a play. So he doesn't score anyway. Interesting how that worked, but that is how you're going to utilize that chart. Guys, I'll tell you right now, I know it looks a little confusing. Practice with it. Get yourself a game board, put some runners on base, and just roll dice. Practice with it. Will work. And there are 2 versions he has. He has the grid version, and then he also has the version where it looks like he also has the grid of the other version that looks like this. I don't like this version. I think this version looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing to the eye over this version where you actually have to maybe find it. Here, I think it's all spelled out. I like this version better than that. I've already told them that. So it is an RBI double for Schmidt. So Matthews holds at third. And the Phillies now have a 5-2 lead. The whole concept was to streamline play. I understand that. I do get that. I know why. It was the software. It was your software that he kind of got the bug on to go ahead and make the changes to the game. I've argued a few things against him, but this is his game. I just play it. And I still love it, even though I'm a little bit disappointed that he's changing a little bit of the uniformity. But that's okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you should be sorry. It's your fault. That's okay. I love you, Craig. You're the best. You know what? Your software is going to make this game even better. So Matthews on at third, Schmidt on at second. It's now 5-2, and now the batter is Morgan. So that's how you figure this out. As I said, guys, practice that chart if you think it's going to be an issue. Practice the chart. Okay? That's all I did for a while was practice the chart. I got my game board out. I took these teams out and just rolled dice. Hit the left, hit the center, hit the right, different players, different batters. And it took a little bit of me to get used to it, but I think it's okay. So McGregor will pitch to Morgan now with 2 outs. And the strategy rolls are still on. Then I'm going to say that's a 2 and nothing's going to happen anyway. So McGregor 3-6, that's a blank. We'll go to Morgan's card. 3-4, and it's an F8 that's going to fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 error, and the Phillies now have a 5-2 lead going in the bottom of the 7th. And I'm not going to do a 7th inning stretch. We're already more than 2 hours into the game. I still have to do some shopping, so we're going to move right along. So bottom of the 7th inning, Carlton's going to stay on the mound, and Rich Dower, his fatigue is McGregor's fatigue is he is now fatigued. McGregor is now fatigued, as a matter of fact. So I put a marker on him, which means I'm going to have to take him out of the game if I want to. You don't have to take him out if you don't want to. You can still let him pitch. But you're down 5-2, okay, and still. So Carlton would pitch to Dower. Carlton still has quite a bit left. He can still pitch to 8 batters before he retires. Carlton will pitch 4-2. And against a righty, it's an S1 result. Dower is a righty. That's a straight hit past the pitcher. And Dower safe at first on a single. So now the batter is Cruz. Strategy rolls are still on. Strategy rolls, by the way. Let me mention this. Strategy rolls when there are no strategy rolls when the run differential in the game plus the inning is greater than 10. That's another. If you still want to use strategy, you can still. If you still want to use strategy rolls above 10, that's fine. You can do it. Remember, play the game you want to do it. Baseball demos. He still likes to use strategy rolls if it's a blowout, and I think he's right on that because the havoc roll can detect certain. There are certain you still have to roll a havoc, okay, for Stratomatic for certain situations. Good to see you, Brandon. So Dower's on it first. Let's roll the strat. And that's a 6. He's not going anywhere. You're probably down 3 runs. You wouldn't do that anyway. Carlton will pitch. 1-2. Strikeout. Against the lefty, Cruz is 11. Plus 1 is a 12. That's a 13. It's too high. Cruz, 2-4. And he lines out to third. Now, let's see. Ron McGrath wanted to see a line drive double play. He's about to see possibly one here. That's an L5. It's a line out to third. So that's out number 1. Now you check the line out chart here. Okay. Dower is at first base. And you're going to go ahead and check to see where this is. And you see here there's a 1. So you're going to roll a D6. If a 1 comes up, Dower is out. If not, if there was no throw to first, Dower easily got back. In his last line out double plays, I thought it was a little bit too easy to get double plays at certain positions, and he agreed with me on that. So he adjusted the line out double plays a bit. So a roll of a 1, Dower's off base, and he is 2 outs. Look at that, it's a 1. So that's going to be an L5-3 double play. As Todd Cruz lines out to first, Dower got off to a bad start, and Schmidt throws to first to get Dower. He went on, apparently, Dower went on contact. Dower was already halfway to second, and there was no way he was getting back to first. So that's going to be 2 outs. So Dower is caught off. Still waiting on your 2002 Inside Sports. Brandon, it's coming. I've been bugging him to get 2002, 2003, 5, and 6. I've been bugging him. Trust me, I'm bugging him. And I'll keep on bugging him until he fills out those holes. He said he would. He hasn't let me down yet. But with the new information he's doing, trust me, Brandon, it's coming. I've been bugging him. I've been harping on him for those 4 seasons to get done. I hate holes. I'm OCD. I hate seeing 2001, then 2004, and then 2007 in his inventory. I'm OCD. I can't stand it. I keep on it. Chris, if you're watching this, get those seasons done. Sir, please, pretty please, with a cherry on top. Okay, Dempsey is the next batter. Carlton will pitch. 2-3, and that is an @ sign, so you go at the park. Memorial Stadium, and that is a 5-4. That's a home run possibility to center field. Against the lefty, Dempsey needs a 5. That's a 14. That's just going to be an out. It'll be a deep fly ball to center field. Gary Maddox is going to have plenty of room, and in a second, he'll have plenty of ball, and the inning, and that is going to end the inning. It's just at the park. It's not a range play at the park, which would have made a difference. But Dempsey, it's a deep fly ball to center, but he got way under it. So no runs and a hit for the Orioles. It stays 5-2 in favor of the Phillies. Yes, we need more seasons. I've been bugging him. And Craig, I don't know if his rater can rate some of the earlier seasons. How great would it be, Craig, if we can get 1919, 1908, 1927, 1954, 1947, 1924? How great it would be to see those seasons in Inside Pitch. Because I got people begging to play Babe Ruth, Walter Johnson, Shoeless Joe Jackson, Ed Delahanty, Christy Mathewson. Yes. So we're trying to hope we get that. Yes, we're asking for it. And I want dead ball. I want to see. I don't know if he can do dead ball in this system. But who knows? Maybe he'll come up with something. We go to the top of the 8th. McGregor is tired. I'm going to take him out. And we'll bring on a new pitcher for the Orioles here. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to bring on a new pitcher. And it's going to be, let's see, Maddox Diaz. Let's see. We got right. The Orioles will bring out Sammy Stewart to pitch. So Stewart will come on to pitch. McGregor leaves with the L for now. So Sammy Stewart will pitch now for the Orioles. He can pitch to 11 batters before fatigue. And it will be Gary Maddox leading off for the Phillies here in the top of the 8th. Now, I'm no longer going to roll a strategy roll anymore because 5 minus 2 is 3 plus 8 is 11. That's over the inning threshold. So now strategy rolls are no longer needed. You can still roll if you want. So here's the pitch from Stewart, 6-5. And now we have a home run question mark. A home run question mark. Against a righty, a 1-13 would be a possible home run. That is a 19. It is too high. Maddox only had 4 of them. So now it's a blank. It's a 1-5, and Maddox does get a single. He'll hit one past second. So Maddox gets his second hit of the game, and now the batter will be Diaz. Diaz is 0 for 3. Infield still a double play depth always, usually when a runner on first, if you want to do it that way. So Maddox is on, no strategy roll. Stewart will pitch. 2-2. Now against the righty, it's a blank. Against the lefty, it's a walk plus 10. Diaz is a righty. Diaz will swing. 4-1. Now that is a G6. That's a ground ball to short. Let's see if they turn the double play. Diaz is a GDP of 2. Stewart, GDP of 0. It's hit to short. So second base pivot for the Orioles is Dower, and he has a 0 arm. So a 1 or a 2, this is a double play. It's a 5. Maddox will be thrown. It's higher than Maddox's base running rating. That's going to be a fielder's choice. So Maddox is thrown out at second, and Diaz takes first. And there it is, 1 out. Now here's De Jesus. Again, no strategy roll. Stewart will pitch. 1-5. Walk plus 10 against the righty. De Jesus is an 11. They becomes a 21. Plus 1 here is 22. And they walks De Jesus. Every time I bring on a new pitcher, there always seems to be a walk somewhere in there. Doesn't matter what game it was. Even though I was doing Fall Classic, I was brought on a pitcher. He always gave up a walk. I don't know. Here comes Perez now with runners at first and second and 1 out in the top of the 8th. So no strategy roll. Stewart will pitch. 2-3, and that is at the park. We'll now go to Memorial Stadium. 1-6, and that is a double star 5. That's an automatic out, and we'll go to the card here at Stewart, and that's a fly out to center field. That's a fly out to center. We still check to see it. Now, you still check to see if he's going to advance. Now, Bo Diaz has a base running rating of 1. Now, if you check the center here, on a fly out modification, F8 is a -1. It's a 0. Okay, it becomes a 0. Now, the center fielder arm for the Orioles is Bunbury. He has a +1 arm. But remember, I told you my house rule. If the base running rating of the runner is already a 0 just by the modification, I don't send him. That's my house rule. Normally, I could still roll to see if Diaz can get to third, but I will not send Diaz because a -1 automatically hit the center would be a 0. Probably wouldn't send him anyway. He's slow as molasses. That's just going to be out number 2. That's my house rule. For those of you wondering about house rules, there you go. Is there anybody here that totally plays their game rules as written without doing a house rule? If anybody here says no, I'll be shocked. I'm pretty sure all of you have a certain house rule for something to make the game even more realistic, more fun, or in your mind, more realistic, or more fun, or more maybe up to date. So here's Hayes with runners at first and second, but now there are 2 outs. Stewart will pitch, no strategy roll. 1-5, that's a walk plus 10 against the righty. Hayes is an 8, plus 1 is a 9. That's an 11. That's a 19 now. And now that 11 will walk him, so now bases are loaded. You try to play rules as written, but it's usually impossible to have a house rule for something. Exactly. So he walks Von Hayes. Now the bases are loaded. Hayes is on base for the 4th time. He was 3 for 4. And now the batter is Charlie Hustle. So now 2 outs, bases loaded for Rose. He had no home runs, so it's not happening in 83. But Stewart will pitch to Rose. So now a chance here for the Phillies to break this game wide open. Roll on Stewart's card. 2-3. That's at the park. Now we go to Memorial Stadium. That's an @ sign, so you go to Memorial Stadium. 1-1. Nope. That's going to be a star line, a double star 4. That's an automatic out. And off of Stewart's card, it's a fly out to left. As Pete Rose does not do anything. And that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, a couple of walks. But the Phillies strand the bases loaded. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Let's see. PC Replay Baseball does give you older seasons, but one thing I'm ticked about is some seasons like 94 and 2004 are just 18 packs for the. Yeah, I didn't notice I didn't mention Replay Baseball in my in which team in which. I noticed I didn't mention Replay Baseball, although you do get all the players in Replay Baseball. Same thing like Inside Pitch. You can get them all printed and then download the rest. But yes, Replay is missing a lot. Is missing a lot of seasons still in the 80s and the 90s. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Carlton can still pitch to 5 more batters. And Al Bunbury leads off for the Orioles. So let's see what happens here. Bottom of the 8th. We're about almost 2.5 hours here. I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can go normal now. If anybody has any questions still, ask. Carlton, 6-5, error, possible error. Bunbury, 1-2, ground ball to third. That ball is hit to Schmidt. His error rating is a 9. That's a 19. He won't make the error, throws to first, and there's your out. Going to show you how quickly the game can play now. And this is now I'm going to show you normal speed, how we'll play during the replay. For those of you who have not seen me a replay. For those of you who have not seen one of my replays, I got 10 seasons to watch. Please watch them, guys. 1983 is my 11th season. I had the 10th Inside Pitch Selection Show. 1983 is my 11th replay. So check it out. There will be 2 replays that I do a year, one starting in January, one starting in July. Oh, by the way, the 11th Inside Pitch Season Selection Show, there is going to be a format change. Okay? You're still going to get to vote on seasons, and the dice will still show you which seasons will be chosen. But there's going to be a bit of a format change. What that is, you'll find out then. Ford will bat now. He is 1 for 3. Carlton, 4-4. Hit by pitch. That 9 is too high. Ford. It's 5-1. Against the lefty, that's a double to left. So Ford gets himself a double. That's his second hit of the ball game. It'll bring up Ripken. Runners on second, no strategy roll. Ford stays at second base. 1 out here, bottom of the 8th. Carlton, 4-1, strikeout 3, got him. Against the lefties, a 7 plus 1 is an 8. He will strike out Ripken. And that is the 7th K for lefty, 2 outs. And now here's Murray. And Murray is 0 for 3. And yes, Brandon Baker always has a great story to tell at the record on Ripken's record game. If you've not seen it, check out his Facebook page. He always tells a great story, and it is a great. Actually, it's not a great story, Brandon. It's an awesome story. That story of yours should actually be put in the Hall of Fame, and I agree with that. That's an awesome story about Ripken at 21-31. Cal Ripken, yeah, some kid that thinks who's going to do 2,132 consecutive games. Not a chance. Carlton will pitch to Murray. 6-4. That's a range play. So now we go to Murray. 6-4. Against the lefty, it's a single pass short, but it's a range play for De Jesus. The infielder's back. His range is a 2. He's got it. Nice play by De Jesus. He'll throw to first to get the out, and that will do it. No runs and a hit for the O's. 5-2 after 8. Can see how well the game flows. It really flows very well. Some people don't like extra dice rolls. I understand that. That's fine. But there's usually always a game where you're still rolling extra dice. Top of the 9th here. Although he must be playing with someone else's glove with the E6. Top of the 9th. Stewart is going to stay on the mound. Why not? And Gary Matthews leads off for the Fightin' Phils. He is 1 for 4, got a double and reached on an error. So Stewart, 6-1, wild pitch. Now that's an automatic blank. You now on wild pitches and pass balls. If there's nobody on base, it's an automatic blank. You just roll in the batter card next. 5-3, and Matthews leads off with a double to center field. That's a D8, and that will be a double for him. So he has his second double of the game. And here comes Michael Jack Schmidt. And Mike Schmidt says he wants to be the greatest third baseman of all time. Yeah, good luck there, kid. Actually, in 1983, he's really not a kid. Good luck there, guy. We'll see. Have I ever tried the inside pitch fax? Yes. I don't, but now with the new rules he's using, those fast action cards are now redundant. He's going to have to redo those if he wants to. Those with the new rules that he's doing in version 4, those fast action cards really aren't necessary. And I tried using them. I didn't need to use them. I prefer the dice. They said he did make it easy for some people. Some people said it made some easier. I really didn't care for them. I didn't need them. I'm so used to the dice. But then again, I've been playing but I've been playing this game for over 5 years, and I played over, 1,000 games of inside pitch, but I'm still learning nuances about this thing. Schmidt the batter, Stewart will pitch. 1-3, strikeout, 16 is going to be too high. Schmidt is a 13 against the righties, +1 makes him a 14. The 16 is high. 3-1, and that's a P5. He's going to pop out to third. And nobody moves. That's out number 1. Next batter is Morgan. Morgan is 1 for 4. He hit a bomb in this game. That's what I do also, Captain Carl. I do the same thing for the batter. So Stewart will pitch to Morgan. 3-1, range play at the park. Memorial Stadium, 3-6. That's a ground ball to third. That ball is hit to Cruz. He was pretty good. His range is a 4. Nope, it's going to get past him for a base hit. That's going to be a single past third. So let's see what happens with Matthews. Matthews' base running rating is a 4. There's only one out. So let's see. He's at second base. So his base running rating is a 4. It's a single past third. He needs to be a 4+ in order to score from second to home. Well, he is a 4, and he is going to score. So that's a single past third. Morgan has an RBI. Matthews scores, and the Phillies now have a 6-2 lead. Stadium groans. RBI single by Morgan. And now here's Maddox. And that's going to be it for Stewart. Orioles going to go to a different pitcher here. I'm just going to bring another pitcher. So coming on to pitch for the Orioles, I'm going to bring out, just because I can, Tippy Martinez. A solid closer. Tippy Martinez will come out to pitch now for the O's. Morgan on at first, now 6-2 in favor of the Phils. And Maddox is 2 for 4. Martinez will pitch. 1-6. Range play. Maddox. 5-1. That's a power hit to center field. That's a 9. Against the lefty, it's a possible double, but it's a range play for Al Bunbury. His range is a 3. Nope, he's not going to get it. That's going to be a double to center field. Now, will it score Morgan? We get to use the chart. So a double to center field. So let's see what happens here. We roll the D20, and a double to center field with 2, and there's 1 out. So a double to center field, DH, okay, that's a 13. So now we roll this chart down this chart, and a 13 means he holds at third. It just says third, which means Joe Morgan holds at third, and Maddox holds at second, and that's it. We don't even need to roll the D6. So, and probably with a base running rating of 2, Morgan probably wouldn't have scored anyway. So that's going to be a double to center. Maddox has his 3rd hit of the game, and Morgan holds at second. So that is how that chart works. And I think it actually might make some sense. As I said, it takes a little bit of the base running ratings out of the equation for the runners on base to streamline, like Craig Scarborough said, but it does seem to fit into the game. So now runners at second and third, still 1 out. And now the batter is Diaz. And they're going to play the infield in. Why not? So Tippy Martinez will pitch. 4-2. Strikeout, not a walk chance or home run chance. I'm still debating what I want to do with that rule of his, with that version 4 rule of his. But let's see here. So strikeout. All right. Still chance. He's not tired. He just came in. All right. Against the lefty, Diaz is a 9 plus 1 is a 10. That's a 4. We got him. So he does strike out Diaz, and there are now 2 outs. And now the next batter is De Jesus, and he is 2 for 3, a single, double, and a walk. So runners at second and third, Martinez will pitch. 5-5, possible error. De Jesus, 3-5, And that's a pop fly ball to second base. Second baseman for the Orioles is Rich Dower. His error rating is a 3. On an error chance on a pop fly ball, it needs to be an odd number. The only way he has an error is a 1. That's a 7. He'll make the catch and end the inning. So 1 run on 3 hits for the Phillies. They have a 6-2 lead going into the bottom of the 9th. But even in the demo game, will there be some 9th inning magic? Steve Carlton can pitch to one more batter before he tires. He's going to try to go the distance. Baltimore's Renicky will lead off. He is 1 for 3 with a double. So bottom of the 9th, 6-2 Phillies. So now you see that chart at work. As I've said before, download the chart, print it, and practice with it. I think it does streamline the game pretty well. He's still making changes. He's still making changes in the game. Remember, it's beta. It's not official. He will let you know when it is official. But play it. Try it. Make changes to yourself if you don't think it needs more. Carlton will pitch to Renicky. 3-6. Strikeout 5. And yep, he got him. Called strike 3 on Renicky. He's a 5 plus 1 is a 6. And that is a 5. He'll strike him out. And that is the 8th strikeout for lefty. 1 out. Now he's tired. And now I'll put the pawn on him. And now the batter is Singleton. Singleton is 0 for 2 with a walk. Carlton, 4-3. And now we come up. So now you have a parentheses here. And it's an S1. A 4-3 is an S1 in parentheses. He is tired. That is now a base hit. That is no longer a blank. It's a single for Singleton. And now I take him out of the game. So that's going to be it for Carlton, as I do follow that rule. Carlton will not be able to finish. Now, that's an optional rule. You do not have to follow that. That is an optional rule in the rule book. You don't have to take him out if you don't want to. I do. So we're going to bring on a new pitcher here, as Rich Dower is the next batter. And coming on to pitch for the Phillies is going to be Ron Reed. Try to get the game closed. Not really a save situation yet. So Ron Reed will come on to pitch for the Phillies. Carlton leaves with a W. Reed will try to get the actually it is a save situation. The tying runs in the hole. So Singleton on at first. Reed will pitch. He can pitch to 7 batters before fatigue. 4-4. That's at the park. We go to the Memorial Stadium here. 4-5, and that's going to be an F7. That's going to be a fly to left. That'll be caught there by Gary Matthews for out number 2. So the last chance for the Orioles is going to be Todd Cruz, and he's 0 for 3. So Reed will go ahead and pitch. 1-5, strikeout 12. Swing and a, let's see, against the righty, 17 plus 1 is 18. Swing and a miss. Strike out. That's your game. The Phillies will go ahead and get the victory in this demo game. No runs and a hit. The Phillies will beat the Orioles here 6-2. Stadium groans. So that is your demo game for the Inside Pitch 1983 season. And I'll give you a final line score here in a second. Here, let's get a final line score. So 3, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12. No errors. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For the Phillies, it'll be 6 runs on 12 hits, no errors. For the Orioles, 2 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. Steve Carlton gets the win. Scott McGregor the loss. Ron Reed will get the save. So that is a demo game of Inside Pitch. I'll give a few minutes here before I close. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any quick questions? All right. Does anybody have any questions before I close this? Want to know if you guys have anything more to say or anything you want? Anybody have any questions here? I'll give a minute here for you guys to type. But that is how you do a demo game of Inside Pitch. You guys know I will always have a demo of Inside Pitch for the upcoming season. So whatever the next season will be after 1983, which will start July 6th, okay, I'll always have a demo game the week before. So people that want to know about it and anything like that may want to do. But does anybody have any questions? Or are we ready for the beginning of the 1983 season next Monday night? You've never seen Inside Pitch before. You're looking to see the first game of January. Gingerbeard 327. I'm glad you joined me for it. As I said, if anybody has any chances, you could any want to give it a try, just download a PDF and cut out some paper or something like that. You know, download a PDF, or if you really want to give it a try, order a copy and choose a season. Choose your favorite season or a season you always wanted to play, and give it a try. And see what you like about this game. I think it's is it the most accurate? A lot of people ask me, is Inside Pitch accurate? It's as accurate as it can be. Every game engine has its cons and has its minuses. You know, every game engine has its pros and its cons. It always does. All right. It's as accurate as it can get. All right. If you're playing a certain game for accuracy, I mean really on the mark accuracy, you really shouldn't be playing, because then you're going to want every game to end up the way it actually did historically, and you're going to want the teams that actually made the postseason make the postseason. You know, so why do that? Okay, you're going to have game. You know, it's all set. You know, as accurate as it can be. And that, I think, is what makes this game interesting. I play it more for the fun factor. I think there's no other more fun game of baseball than Inside Pitch. It just flows well for me. It's easy to play, okay? And I think the base running is intuitive. It just seems to work. So that's how to me, I think that's just how it works. If there are no other questions, I'm going to close this demo game out. And, you know, for you guys. So, the demo game is over. The 1983 season is about to start. Our next game will be Monday night at 8 p.m. It'll be opening day here at Inside on our JL Network for Inside Pitch, the 1983 season opening day. From Riverfront Stadium, it will be the Atlanta Braves taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Hall of Famer Phil Niekro will be pitching for the Braves, and Mario Soto will be going for the Reds. That will be at Riverfront Stadium. That will be 8 o'clock next Monday night, January 6th. As the 1983 season gets underway, it's the return of the 10-minute ticker and fast score, and we are all set and ready to go. Braves, Reds, 1983 opening day. Be there or be square. Thank you all for joining me today. Please leave a like on your way out through the turnstiles. Subscribe if you're not done so, and make sure you hit the darn bell. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, stay strong. We'll see you next Monday night. The Phillies beat the Orioles in a demo game, 6-2, and we'll see you guys in a little bit over in next Monday night for opening day. Catch you then, guys.